At the CoCoNation, more than 9 million men and women have participated in the community without setting foot outside their homes. And now at home in your spare time, you can see what's happening, or even join the discussion. Choose from any one of these segments: panel intros, project updates, acquisitions, CoCo Thoughts, featured interviews and events, the Game On Challenge, news, Ron's Garage, CoCo commercials, show coverage, panel goodbyes, or you can join one of our extra shows. You can choose from the Game On Challenge Live or CoCo Tech. Join the CoCoNation right now.
Click the link for the free information TJB Chris spoke about. Then decide if you want to watch the CoCoNation Live Show, the world's leading live weekly talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer, its siblings, cousins, and redheaded stepchildren. Visit thecoconation.com. There is no obligation and no salesman will visit you. Visit thecoconation.com.
The CoCoNation show is an unscripted, live, and interactive broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own, and not necessarily those of the CoCoNation show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds are encouraged, and a sense of humor is recommended. Thank you for being a part of the CoCoNation.
Radio Shack? Okay.
What?
The 80s called.
Welcome to the CoCoNation, the world's first live and interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer and its hardware cousins.
Hey, my turn.
Wake up, Mark. On the ball.
All right, let's see. Welcome to the CoCoNation show, episode 447. I think I've got all the buttons in the right place.
Has it been that many? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, okay. In the panel today, let's start off. We have Rick Euland.
Cool, and we dodged the bullet. You'll notice the snow is melting as fast as it's falling, so woohoo! I'm so happy. It never even got up to cover the keyboard hole. So life is good in Milwaukee.
And next over, we got Ken Waters.
Hey, you guys fired me in the pre-show and now I'm in the top row. What's going on here?
I don't know. Zoom just kind of randomly put everybody.
Get you in here before you can log out.
And next over with the fur shawl, we've got Marco.
I'm in the top row. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Zoom just kind of randomly threw people everywhere.
All right. Well, hi there. Glad to be here. Fun as always.
What about the cat? The cat hasn't moved. Is the cat okay?
Oh, the cat's sleeping. She's purring.
All right, next over we got Ron Magnum Deluxe.
Easy for you.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is find out how many words I can put on there for my name. Welcome to the show.
Good Greek name there. All right, next row we've got yours truly, the button pusher. And then we got L. Curtis Boyle.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm just busy gathering the news in the background here because I'm running late. So if I look distracted, that's why.
Okay, and then we got Grant Leedy.
Hello, everybody. Why do I have to be by Curtis Boyle for?
Zoom.
Ask Zoom.
To class up the joint.
Be honored that you're by a Canadian.
I know, darn it.
Looks like you're having weather there,
How's that?
Grant.
Yeah, it's Northern Lights.
He's attracted an aura.
Oh, that's better. Now he's below a Canadian.
That's right. Let's see. Next over, we got Kevin.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, and Qui-Gon.
Howdy.
Hey, Qui-Gon.
I'm home now.
And
Oh, you can say more than 2 words.
Wow.
next up, we got Bob Emery.
Wait, you
Howdy, folks.
skipped
Welcome to
Grant.
the show.
We already got Grant.
No, he moved. He gets 2.
You're out of order, sir.
He's out of order. Yeah.
And okay, last but not least, we got Brian Weasler.
Hello, all. Welcome to the show.
Another man of few words.
Okay, let's see. Next up, we got project updates. Grant, tell us what's going on with CoCoFEST.
All right. So just to let everybody know, we are approaching, as of today, 104 days to the next CoCoFEST here, coming up here on April the 24th and 25th.
Is it still considered the last one?
Well, it is
next to last.
Yeah, the annual last CoCoFEST, but it's not going to be the last CoCoFEST. So just to let everybody know, the table registrations will open, very, very important, on February the 15th at 3 p.m. So again,
Eastern?
February
Central.
the 15th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this will help for people on the West Coast who go to church. So I'm taking them in consideration. So therefore they can wait till 1 o'clock. Yeah.
It's the day after Valentine's Day.
Yes. So Valentine's Day should not be a factor because it's the day after. So I took that in consideration too. So therefore we're not doing it on Valentine's Day. We're doing the day after, and we're doing it after church on the West Coast. So should be no excuses here to say, oh, I missed the registration time. So I don't want to hear any excuses here. So February 15th.
We have plenty of warning.
Exactly. February 15th, 3 o'clock Central Time. We will you can register for tables. Same prices as last year. It's $40 for a 4-foot table, $50 for a 6-foot table. And then hallway tables are going to be $30 a piece. So, and then keep in mind too, this year we are not going to have any overflow tables. So, in the other rooms. So we'll have either the hallway in just the ballroom. So we'll have 16 hallway tables. So, and then that's it. And if we sell more than that, then we will have the option to purchase the overflow room, but we're not going to pre-purchase the overflow room until we sell the hallway tables.
It was a waste last year.
Right, last 2 years actually. So,
Makes sense.
so the other thing too is the dinner is going to be a Italian dinner. So the main dish is going to be the it's going to be the pasta dinner. So it's going to be a meatloaf. Excuse me, not meatloaf, but a meat lasagna. I can't remember all the other sides because I haven't gotten the final menu, but that will be also around $42 per person. So a little bit cheaper than it was last year, because last year, if I'm not mistaken, it was $47, I believe. So a little bit cheaper. Hotel rooms are ready to go book, so you can book that with the code, the rate code of G30 as well, and then so everything's ready to go as far as that. So what's
a hotel room going for these days?
Same as last year, same price as it was last year. Let me look that up here.
Which is 130.
He's looking it up.
I'm looking here. 142 a night is what it was, plus taxes.
Okay.
So same price as it was last year.
Grant, you also want to mention about paying for the tables?
Oh, yes, thank you. So tables, the main difference this year with the tables is we are encouraging everybody to pay for them online at the time of the booking. We will not be accepting payment of the tables when you arrive at the show.
No bad checks when the show starts?
I'm sorry?
No bad checks as the show starts?
Exactly. Or you're not going to have the option to, or if you are going to send a check in to the Treasury, which this year's Tony, you will have 3 weeks to get the check in as soon as you put the registration in online. So you have 3 weeks to get the check in to Tony. And then if you don't have the check in to Tony within 3 weeks, then the table then will be reopened up to the public. So what we're trying to avoid is what we had happen last year, is where somebody buys the table at the beginning of the when registration opens up. They say they're going to mail a check or pay at the time of the show. They don't show up, and then we have a table that was booked already. They didn't show up, nor did they didn't pay for the table, and then that kept somebody from buying that table for use at the show, which we lost money, and then also the table couldn't have been used by somebody else
then
who
you got
wanted.
a whole dang room you didn't need because.
Exactly. So we're trying to
like
avoid
that.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're trying to
You don't
avoid
wanna
that.
Send a big guy over named Guido to collect.
Right. We don't have Guido.
Exactly. And I mean, it wasn't we didn't have too many people that did that, but it was enough that, you know, we don't want to, you know, it wasn't fair for other people. So we're trying to avoid that. So if you are going to send a check in, you're going to have to mail it to Tony, the treasurer, but you're going to have 3 weeks to get that check in to Tony. So, you know, we all know how the mail is. And of course, if we haven't gotten the check within that 3 weeks, we're going to call you to say, hey, where's the check, before we reopen it up to the public, you know, just to make sure it didn't get lost in the mail or something like that. But that's going to be the new policy this year versus what it has been in the past. So, but the bottom line is we shouldn't be using checks very much anymore today. You know, PayPal it, it's done instantly and be done with it. So
I have like 3 checks left in case I have to send one in for some official purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, send a voided check. That's what I keep them for. Otherwise,
exactly.
What are those?
So, other than that, the other thing too, thank you, by the way, Brian Weisler, for reminding me about that. The other thing too is I'm also looking for people to give presentations as well. So if you would like to give a presentation, just reach out to me or send me an email at CoCoFest@GlensideCCC.com, and I'll get you on the list and we'll get you squared away. We're going to be mainly doing presentations mainly on Friday, because more people enjoy watching and giving presentations on Friday. More people prefer to play on Saturday. So we're going to mainly keep it that way. Probably have a couple presentations on Saturday, but that's pretty much what we're going to do on Saturday. But Friday's going to be the presentation day, more or less. So, but that's pretty much my presentation. All the updates I have. I'll be putting the updates up on Glenside here later today with the all the other information as well. So just remember, February 15th at 3 o'clock Central Time. Registrations will go live for the tables. So, any questions?
One other thought. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, in the chat, they were asking the size of the tables. They were some 6 and some 8s, weren't they?
Yeah. Yep. 6 foot. 6 foot was. Let me go back here. Yeah, same as it was last year. 6 foot was the $40, and 8 foot was the $50.
But you missed the trick. Unlike last year, registration didn't start during the CoCoNation, so we can't have the rush to get tickets like we had last year.
Yes. Yes, Brian, you had a question?
Give me a minute if you guys want to talk about something. I was thinking about something else and I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Been there, done that.
Oh, I remember. If you have any donations that you'd like to make to the auction for the CoCoFEST, and you are unable to attend CoCoFEST, reach out to any of us on the Glenside committee, and we can probably make some kind of arrangements to get it shipped to us, so it can be part of the fest.
And we reimburse you that too, just to let you know.
Yep. So if you have any donations you'd like to make to the auction, feel free to.
And I believe Mark B said there was one that was mentioned somewhere. So
yeah, there was a gentleman that sent an email. It ended up in the our group email for the CoCoNation. So I replied back to him suggesting to check out the Glenside website, but then also asked, told him that if we knew where he was, we might be able to arrange a local pickup for him.
Can you forward that email to me, please? At CoCoFEST.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send that to me, and I'll also reach out to him as well.
Where the CoCoFEST at
GlensideCCC.com.
cc.com.
And the more donations, the better, because I love working with Mark B.
He just loves buying the stuff, is what he does.
I was just going to say that too.
Okay. Well, in my haste to get the Glenside or CoCoFEST stuff up, I forgot to do the chat introduction. So let's bounce over to that real quick.
Okay.
And
any other questions before we do that, though? Is that all? All right, cool. I'm sure we'll have a lot of updates
Grant,
in between.
Grant,
yeah.
Deadline for donations.
Do what?
Deadline for donations.
Day up, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can pretty much give them to him.
I mean, we take donations until the day of the fest. So.
All right. But if you want to arrange transport, you might need to leave a week lead time.
What do you want to say for that, Brian?
What's that?
Probably deadline for donations for mailing, probably 2 weeks prior.
I would say probably 2 weeks. Yeah, because if we end up having to arrange some sort of shipping or whatever, I mean, even like a UPS ground or something like that,
right.
Depending where you're at, it could take 5 days or more. So yeah.
Yeah, it takes 5 business days. Yeah.
And as Curtis knows, it's the more part.
Yeah.
Especially
if you're talking UPS.
Yeah, from Canada. Yeah, give it a month. So
those chocolate bars will arrive someday.
They lost it in the States for a week and a half too. So yeah.
That's the 10th of April. So
by the way, I was paying extra for overnight shipping too.
Draw a line there. The 10th of April is 14 days before. So anyway.
All right. So in the chat today, we've got Michael Zwiffel, Brian Blake, Jay Jones, Rick Yu, Wayne Campbell, Kevin Holloway, Tim Franklin, Brian again, Jim Rye, Sixie, Peter Willard, Canadian Retro Things, Ken Lanier.
Bill's still in that HSV.
Yeah,
whatever he does.
Scrolling, 60 again. Jim Ryan, Brian Walsh, Tom Eric Gunderson, 8 Bits in the Basement, Julian Brown, David Croker, I'm starting to get a Stack Overflow here.
Quick, reboot Mark.
That's why I do this earlier before it has a chance to extend tabs. Okay, color computer programming 602. And L. Curtis, Peter Willett, and Chris Dries. There we go. And that should bring us up to date. Yes. Oh no. Benevolent Chum. New people today.
Benevolent.
Benevolent.
Ah, damn English.
V's and L's are hard.
Okay, we're done with that. So let's flip back over to here. And Brian, what say you?
Okay. Yeah, I got kind of a bit of a show and tell here. It's maybe a month or so ago, I was traveling for work, and I made a stop at Mr. James Jones' house again. And he had a little, him and I did a little exchange. I had something for him, and he had something for me. And with that, I do got kind of a little box of goodies from him. And I was just going to share some of that stuff. I mean, it's just kind of interesting. It's probably going to add to my archive list of things I need to do. But let me switch cameras here, and I'll just kind of do a little show and tell here. Boom. Okay. You ready for me, Mark?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So some of this is just going to, like I said, some of this you guys may have seen before, but I'm just going to kind of thumb through it all, and maybe some of it might jog some memories or whatever. But this was popular here. I think this was within the OS9 world here. It was called Uptime. I think we've seen some of these before.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So this was an issue here. What was it? Got Volume 1, Issue 4. And here's another one here. Here's Volume 1, Issue 5 here. So I don't know if this was
right.
Was he the one? Was he the one who kind of ran the whole thing there, or
bottom right of the page, the little letter from the editor.
Yep, Jordan. Right. Yep, exactly right here. Yep,
okay. That makes sense.
Yep. So yeah, he had a couple issues of that in here, and some of this might repeat too. I tried to go through this thing and kind of put it into some kind of an order, but I'm not going to guarantee anything here.
What was Jordan's last name, Brian?
Zvetkov starts with a T.
Okay, yeah, he's the guy who wrote the pyramid clone or Kubert clone for the CoCo 3 Pyramix when he was like 16. So he's probably like, when he was doing this newsletter here, is probably, maybe 20.
Okay.
If even
So
that.
I remember I saw a couple of them newsletters. I had all the newsletters at the time, and they're all blurred together now, so I can't keep them all separate.
This here was from the Glenside here. So the Glenside Computer Club, this was the newsletter that was out there that I know we've tried jumpstarting it a couple times, but the CoCo 123, this one here happened to be January 1995. But it was the Glenside Computer Club newsletter that they used to put out. Mr. Brian Schubring at the time was I think he was maybe president at that time.
Character there.
Yeah, Tony Pedrazza was president quite a few years there too. So
yep. So that was in there, but it looks like it was something that, obviously they must have mailed it out at the time. Of course we probably wouldn't do that now, but anyway. The International OS9 Underground.
Was that Alan Sheltra? I'm trying to remember if he did that.
Yes, it was.
Looking to see if there's a name here somewhere.
Yeah, he's
probably on the
Mr. Sheltra
inside.
is responsible, I believe, for this one.
Delmar.
That's an ad.
Yeah, I was looking to see here. I could see a name.
There's an editorial column or something. That's probably where to have his name.
There you go. Who signed the Under It All editorial page? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Alan.
I think you're right on this one.
Editor Alan Sheltra.
I don't remember a lot of things, but yeah.
Yep. Sheltra. Yep. Right here.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Yeah, I don't know if this was this again was probably just an OS9 specific one.
Yep.
Or OS9, maybe even OS9K too. It might have been.
Hey, look, there's an ad for Gale Force for Nitrous 9.
Right?
What was that again? I'm sorry. Here. Oh, right. This.
Yep.
Yeah, this is old school here.
That's when West Gale was selling it when Nitrous 9 was a commercial product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Consecutive ads. Big money. Oh, 3 in a row. How many?
So, but yeah. Here's
that
another
one
thing
was
here.
a great magazine because it had a lot of information in it. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty dense one.
OS9 Game Pak.
That is, oh, what's his name? Heavyset guy. Jeez. Rick, you probably remember him too. Zach Sessions.
Yep, Zach Sessions right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the OSK version or the OS9 version?
OSK, the cover said.
Yeah, OSK, because it says right here, this package is a collection of 5 popular games adapted for your MM1.
Yeah.
Games include Flip It, Dice Poker, Knights, Bridge, Minefield, Sea Battle.
Yeah, we got a few of those from the OS9 CoCo 3 version of that package in the current version of Nitrous 9 EOU.
Okay.
In fact, we might even have all of them on there. I can't remember.
This is just a manual here for Burke&Burke's his CoCoXT and XTREC, which was his interface that you connected to an ISA ISA hard disk.
Yeah, the 8-bit version of ISA, not the 16-bit.
Yep. Right.
Yep.
Yep. So for your OS9, this is just the manual that would have went with it then. So
yeah, the RTC is a real-time clock option. I had that as well.
Yep.
Right.
So little manual there that was in
there. You could just pop a new coin cell in there and you were good to go.
Here's also another Burke&Burke product, their file system Repack. Yeah.
That's a defrag utility.
Yep. Here's again Gold Runner 2000.
That's Chet Simpson's. The big challenge he had with Eric Critchlow. We actually had Eric on to talk about that at one point, and Chet's talked about it as well. Because basically Eric did a version of this game on the MM1, and basically Chet said, "Well, I could do that on the CoCo 3 as well." And and the challenge was on it. And technically, I think he lost because he didn't quite submit it quite on time, but it was basically done, so he kind of won.
Okay. Yeah, because it says here 3 meg MM1 or MM1A. Hard drive, stereo speakers, joystick optional.
Oh, this is the MM1 OSK version then, the manual.
Yes. Yep.
That's Eric's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So, another copy of the International Underground there. So, they have Mo on the front of it. That's a little out, but anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
me.
Hey, you just passed by Rick's ad there.
Uh oh. Where are we at there? Sorry.
Right there.
Oh, right. Yep, there you are.
Connect.
Yeah,
well, let's see here.
Stuff.
What was he selling here? Let's look and see here. Connect custom CoCo cables. You could get a cassette, mini, or RCA. That was $4.95.
Mainly I sold the serial port. And,
Yep.
And what have we got?
You got 2 drive floppy data for $14.95, composite video for $3.95, a printer cable for $4.95, a 3 drive floppy data cable for $19.95, and then you also
have
have
he's got his RS-32 mini pack. So that's before the Fast 232. What's the second one?
And then what's the next
expander?
thing?
Oh, that's your sort of mini MPI.
That was that stupid expansion port that never worked right.
Oh, you had a 512K CoCo 3 upgrade here for $49.95, and a 2 meg. Woo, for $219 installed.
Yeah, that wasn't much more than DistOS to send you the stuff.
Yeah.
And there was soldering required, so I would have used that.
Yeah, I installed several of those because nobody else wanted to do that. So I think Tony sent me like 10 of them or something, and I just basically soldered them in, made a few bucks, and no one had to pay order crap. And
you also had a product here called the Expander.
Yeah,
X
that one never
Panther?
really worked right.
Okay.
It would have worked if I'd understood more about fan out and propagation delays and stuff, but you live and learn, I guess.
Right. There you are. Ooh, and you were Rick Euland on Delphi.
Oh wow, that was kind of later. Instead of when I was 13303. Geez, I don't remember the last 4 digits on CompuServe.
Yeah. My last 4 was 1271. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. This was just kind of funny though. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs, IBM. So any questions? I thought that was just kind of funny. So
there's buttons like that too, like Jurassic OS that Windows 95 survived the jungle or whatever it was. And
here's a nice manual. This is in great shape here. It's a CM8 service manual for the CM8 monitor.
Did they have the 3D printout for the door?
Right. Let's see here. What do we got here? A couple more issues of the CoCo 1, 2, 3 there. So I think these are all electronic now too. I think they're all available out there on the.
Yeah, I think most of them scanned. I contributed a few myself to that. I think Glenside themselves was doing scans, and I think they're pretty well everything they've got is on the archive. There might still be some missing issues, especially the early ones. So if anybody has those, please scan them and send them in.
This was just kind of another Burke&Burke thing here.
Catalog.
Yeah, kind of a catalog of like software. Here's their Z clock. Ancient games of chess. There's their file system again. Make your life with OS9
That's easy, Jen. That's an OS9 boot file editor.
Yeah. And then play. Why can't I read that?
Pertasky.
Play Pertasky. Roll
the cool thing about that one is
dice.
it's a multi-user game.
Okay. It says great for BBS and multi-user systems. A file recovery system. And Real Basic for OS9.
RSB, that's also included in EOU if you want to try it. That's running Disk Basic and Extended Basic, Super Extended Basic on a CoCo 3 while in OS9 as a window.
Sweet. Cyber Voice. So just a nice ad for some Burke&Burke product. Here's a thing here from the Atlanta Computer Society here, newsletter.
Now, is that the same guys that sponsored Atlanta CoCoFEST?
It does say the annual Atlantic CoCoFest there, CoCo 3.
I'm going to guess they're pushing their show.
That was Alan Dages was the main guy behind the fest, I think.
Not sure.
Unfortunately, since passed away, but.
Yeah, that's familiar.
I never made it to Atlanta Fest. I know Alan DeCock did on behalf of the Nitrous 9 guys. And Bill made it to the Pacific Northwest. I never made it to those
And
two.
thanks to Alan Huffman, we've seen the site. It is a very southern hotel with appropriate wallpaper and suitable wall sconces. And yeah. And that the CoCo Adventure game that Sabitha put out.
Yeah,
that's that hotel.
That fancy graphical one with all the scanned in photos.
Yeah, it's
Alan Douglas.
Yeah, that's him.
Yep.
Actually, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, so I could have been wrong too.
I heard Dages all the time, so I'm going.
Yeah, that was my guess, but I don't know if that was actually. I never met him. Oh, no, I met him at CoCoFest Chicago. He came up to those a few times too.
Well, this looks like some notes here for some of the Burke&Burke product here. Again, talking about the CoCoXT and the REC one. Hard disk information, the type looks like the type of interfaces and stuff that were available. So I think this is out on the archive because I have a couple of these things that I think I've read through this one before.
James Jones is saying in the chat here, a couple of years in Atlanta, there were cheerleaders in the hotel at the time of the fest.
Ooh, be kind of
fun.
Now I regret not going.
Elgin,
right?
Here's just another 1 year at Elgin too. That was the year that Frank Swaggart crashed his Rambler.
Ooh.
Oh right, I forgot.
It wasn't the cheerleaders. It was completely.
And then Alan Huffman's car broke down at some point too. If I remember, didn't it? In Chicago.
Maybe.
Can't place that one right now.
Of course, the famous couch incident, but we.
Oh yeah.
Here's
another
couch.
Another Burke&Burke ad here, basically. So this might have been stuff he might have been handing out, like at the fest or something like that, you know. Here's just a couple issues. We've all seen these though, but a couple different issues of Rainbow that was in this box here with some stuff. This looks like it's the later year stuff here, so you can see how how thin they were here. But so here's a couple issues from '90, and then when they then you can see here this glossy one here. You can see how thin this one is. It's just there's hardly anything there. And then they switched over to the more of the newsprint one here. So this has been like '92, and
that was basically Lonnie trying to keep it going as long as possible for his, trying not to lose money on it.
So this is October '92
because he did lose money the last few years.
Yeah.
Right.
So in this '93 there, that's almost towards the very end there. So yep.
And those newspaper ones, you'll find programs by like Ken Reichert and Jason Reichert and stuff there too, and some other people that are still active in the CoCo community today.
Here's J&L's CoCo Corner bulletin board system. Looks like it was something that was available at the time. They might have been handing out where you could have dialed into their CoCo system at 300, 1200, or 2400 baud.
Looks like it was made on the CoCo.
It very well probably was. Yep.
2400.
Jim Snyder. That sounds familiar. Do you remember him, Rick?
Not really. I mean,
like I can't say I don't know if I've ever met him, but I remember seeing the name. Probably because I was running BBS at that roughly around that time too. But
yeah, Detroit's a little out of my.
Here's a couple. These are printed out on. Oops! Oh no, I'm losing it. Hold on here. Oh, hold on. Woo! Get back here.
The rest of the show will be in random order.
Geez, we need a second camera on the side to watch all this explosion stuff happen.
Well, it's on the paper, the form feed paper, and it started to unravel on me here like a roll of toilet paper onto the floor. So anyway,
just like when cats play with it, yeah.
So here was some software here. This was desktop and also Paint, and I believe these might have been these for the. I'm not sure if this is OSK stuff. Yeah, this would have been for like K Windows.
There you go.
Okay, that's Kevin Darling's winning system, which is based on the level 2 graphics on the CoCo 3. So that would have been on the TC70 and the MM1, I believe.
Yeah. So yep. So here it refers to the MM1 or other K Windows platforms. RGB monitor, 1 disk drive. So this looks like kind of a printed out manual that you would have had for it. So. And I'm not sure, is there really, I'm just starting to learn more about the 68K stuff and everything, but I don't know if they have a collection of like an archive, like we have our archive. I'm not sure if there really is a single source of stuff where people can upload stuff to. I don't know if they really
I don't know of one. The OS9 RTSI FTP site did have sections devoted to the M1, some 68K stuff. But I mean, 68K covered like, Atari STs and Amigas and Macs and M1s and TC70s and System 4 and 5s, and I know, of course, they had different, graphics chips and stuff, so some stuff wasn't compatible with the others, so it's a bit more. It's more like the PC market back in the DOS days. Like you need a certain card to run this sound thing, and if you had a different one, you couldn't do it, and that kind of thing.
Focus, is it focusing? I'm not sure. This one here says it's a ad referring to the Power Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Affordable MIDI for your professionals and hobbyists. The MM1 saves you money when you move to MIDI. And the MM1, if you have the right card in there, does have a MIDI interface on one of the cards.
Yeah, they replaced one of the standard supports with a MIDI speed one, right? If I remember.
Yep, I think that's correct. So this is just an explanation here of the benefits of the MM1 as a musician's tool.
And they strained mightily to make that a P MIDI, didn't they?
Yeah, I do know there was an Altamuse for OSK for the M1. I do remember.
Oh, okay. There was that, and then another magazine that a lot of us are familiar with, and that would have been the 68 microjournal. Yep.
Very cool.
So I know, Rick, you have some. I think you have a few.
Oh yeah, that was the official rag for a while. You had to get
right.
That was the magazine that first published how to crack into the cartridges on the CoCo. I think they published in the November 1980 issue. So like the CoCo had only been out for a couple months, and they already figured out you could put tape over the one auto start pin. You could access the ROMs and save the tape.
Right. Well, they had that scale situation where no matter what CoCo specific magazine you were looking at, this thing had 1,000 times the writers. You know, 10,000 times the readers.
Yeah, and they did a lot of Flex and OS9 coverage because they were like a hardcore.
So
magazine.
they got into depths that we would never get.
You didn't see games in there. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Oh, Frank Swaggert's you just showed there.
Oh, okay.
More than 6 to 8 micros.
Right. We all contributed to that thing.
Here's another ad for the Color Computer BBS system. So here's another one here. It looks like they.
Yeah, which one is that? Because there was quite a few.
Yeah, this
Citadel.
Warlock Cave, Hacker's Haven, and Penetrator.
And Citadel.
Yep.
Lancaster and York. Okay, so.
I wonder which one that is because we had so many of them at one point. I don't remember.
Because it really depended on where you lived at the time. You weren't going to call here unless you lived somewhere near Lancaster.
Yeah, it also depended whether you're running OS9 or if you're running Disk Basic, because we had multitudes of BBSs on both platforms. So,
okay, let's see here. Here's a couple products here from Frank Hogg. Just having to do with the where to see the thing. This was for this would have been the 68K stuff here though, but the DC30. Yep.
Yeah, Tomcat 30. Ooh.
What the hell's a Tomcat 30? Oh, is that the Kicks 30 that he did later on?
That thing.
He renamed it to Kicks afterwards for the 68020 and 30 boards.
Here's a couple issues of the OSKer. Yeah.
I have that one on the top there, the first one you're showing.
Oh, this one here? This one? Okay. News and views in the world of OS9 and 68,000 and 6809.
Yeah, there was a lot. Like in the 90s, OS9 kind of took over as the main operating system that a lot of the CoCo people did because the DOS, Disk Basic side had kind of died off. And then it kind of flipped around another 10 years later type thing. But
well, remember for a while, Tandy was pushing everything's OS9. The games are OS9. Everything's OS9.
Yeah, but even after Tandy quit selling, like in the 90s, all the development was happening in OS9. We were getting all kinds of stuff converted from C programs from all kinds of other machines. So software was coming rapid fires through there rather than having to program everything in assembly and Disk Basic. And then people like Nick Morentis came along and started, cranking out the really good games. So started flipping the other way.
Machine-specific stuff that just worked.
Now, is this the system you have, Rick?
No, this is the little one, the 68,000.
Yeah, you got the 68,020 System 5, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the Delmar, the M.
That's basically an OSK machine that actually used ISA cards.
Oh, okay.
So you obviously need a driver. So there's like one specific chipset of VGA that worked and that kind of thing. But
yeah, there was a SingLab VGA card that worked, and that was the one you got because it fit the bus.
It says because it looks like it supported the standard floppies at the time, VGA video card, AT style case. Where did I see the other person? Yeah, XT slots, AT keyboard, 4 RS-232 serial ports, parallel
not terminals.
Right. They were big on the back plane with a separate CPU card and then all your other little cards plugged into the back plane.
Okay.
So it was easy for them to use a bunch of different form factors by.
Yeah, they used all the PC stuff because, of course, that was bulk produced and cheap, but it had the same problem Linux did in the early days where you wouldn't get the people writing drivers for it. So you had to custom write the one, and that was the one you had to buy. So.
Yeah, the Model K401V with the VGA card was $2,000. Okay, what do we got here?
They ran G Windows too, didn't they, Rick?
Yes, they were G Windows.
They didn't run K Windows. I think they ran G Windows.
No.
Let's see here. I thought I looked to see what this was here. Okay, so yeah, extra, read all about it here. We got peripheral technology pre-production sales here. I saw the word CoCo compatible basic for the 68,000 and 6820 family. Allows CoCo users to run their existing basic programs with ease. Statements such as peek and poke. So I don't know. That caught my eye when I was first looking at it though.
Yeah.
I remember the MM1 had one, but it was slow. It ran like about 20 to 30% the speed of a real CoCo 3. But this is on a 68020 or 68030 machine, which would be a big jump.
Looks like just like another ad though. Okay, what do we got here? Show specials. What do we got here? Bare bones system. Let's hear it. Was this? I remember if this was 68,000.
PT680K4. That's the system 4 again.
Okay.
That's that peripheral technologies board, which was very, very strange. I had one for a while. It was weird.
Here's the Atlanta 1990 CoCoFEST.
Goober says, "Welcome south, y'all."
Y'all. Let's see here.
Right.
So here's the Dan. It's Dagus or Dagus.
Alan
Davis. Yeah.
Yep, and Newton White.
Can't say I know Newton, but Alan for sure. He was at Chicago CoCoFest numerous years too.
Subset Software Company History, April 1995. In 1990, myself, Alan Huffman, and Terry Todd founded Subset Software in support of the CoCo.
Yeah.
Yep. So it looks like just a little letter that went out kind of talking about that. Oh,
it's based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if anybody's read those books.
Oh, okay. Another couple issues of Uptime again. And then here's kind of a nice book here. The CoCoFEST Chronicles, Volume 1.
Speaking of Mr. Huffman.
Right. So
we almost need like a Volume 2 and a Volume 3 here, but unfortunately Alan didn't make a lot of those shows.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
And just kind of goes through and just kind of documents the whole
yeah, and he covered the Atlanta ones. He's covered the Chicago ones. I can't remember. Did he cover the Pacific Northwest too?
Not sure.
I don't remember though.
There's a couple of them. I mean, it was a bit of a hotbed because that's like where Spectral Associates was and Burke&Burke at the time. In fact, Chris Burke came to some of those shows and did presentations.
Here's Chicago. Let's see. Let me look and see if there's a.
Right. In fact, the story for his Atlanta Fest game came from his Atlanta Fest review in this.
Yeah, and all the photos he took with his little digital camera, which he threw into the game, it was a graphical adventure game. It's actually pretty cool.
I was looking to see if maybe I might have had a index here or something like that. We could see all what was covered. So, but no, I thought that was kind of a nice book that he put together. But yeah, that would be cool if we could have had something that kind of continued that.
It's a fun read. Is that online anywhere?
I don't know. I have my copy that I bought at
CoCoFest
somewhere back here.
If it's not, it should be. I mean,
he might have it out on his website, maybe.
All right.
But here's some of the neat contributions. I don't know. You guys can probably better pronounce some of these words than I can.
Carl Bull,
Jenna
Brackman, brother Jeremy, Ron Bull, who ran PennFest, Ken Fish, James Jones, John Kowalski, which is Sockmaster, yep. Mike Knudsen, who wrote like Ultimuse and amongst other things. Tony Pedraza, of course. Terry Simons, who published one of those magazine things. Can't remember which one was off the top of my head.
And many others. So that's pretty cool. And then the last thing here in the pile, just a binder, not a big deal. I think this is out on the archive too, but it's just a ADOS manual there and stuff, and then some various notes that he had, nifty peaks and pokes, speed up the CoCo, slows the CoCo back down, super speeds for CoCo, screen hangups. Just those of you that are probably more familiar with those pokes are probably
in the days before PDS, we all had a notebook like that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Here's the Mark Goodwin. I think some of us seen this one here. Let's see here. What else?
That's
really.
Yeah, this just
a manual. Woo.
Yeah,
That's when he put it all in. He stuck it in the Phantasm binder.
Right there you go. So, that's all that's in the pile there, guys. I do got some other stuff, but I can save that for another day. So, unless you guys are itching for content, so I just have 2 hardware items to show, but I can save those for another day.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get time.
Okay, I'll switch. Let me switch.
I mean, you're
cameras
still
back
covering
again.
stuff from a month ago. You can just imagine what you had since then.
Right.
Well, not a whole lot. I've actually been kind of down on the whole purchasing thing here lately. So anyway, these are always kind of fun.
Ah, the Diecom Phaser adapter for the Sega
so
Master gun.
Yeah, I saw this pop up. I have one, so I have a pair of these, and I also have David Croker's reproduction of this as well, that he made.
Yeah, and Tim Linder published how you can program for that too. So if anybody wants to write their own games to use that, you can. And it should technically work on a CoCo 1 and 2 too if you decided to tackle that.
Right. Okay. And it ran off the 9-volt battery, which was kind of external. So, but
yeah, I just got a 9-volt adapter to plug on the wall because I would burn. Like if you leave that thing on, it burns through that battery pretty darn quick. So.
But so yeah, it has the 9-pin serial on this end here, and then you got your little lens in here with the light sensor on the inside.
Yeah, well, we only had 2 official games released for it: Iron Force and Medieval Madness. There was a third Wild West game that he had demoed at one of the fests. I think Chicago 88 or 89 before he exited the market due to reasons we've talked about.
Right. So yeah, so I got that there. So it's kind of a fun product. And then one that I hadn't seen before, I just recently got this one here. Whoops, get the sticker off here. So Bright Face. I couldn't really find a whole lot about this thing here. It's a parallel serial to parallel interface. So it has a nice metal din on it, and then you got your parallel interface here.
I've never heard of that one.
No. I did a search on the in the Rainbow, and the only thing I could find was like 3 or 4 hits, and it's just an ad. And it was just a 1-line ad, no picture, no nothing. So it does run off of a power adapter. Reach the power adapter. It happened to be an Archer.
Oh, okay.
Power adapter that they used, and that plugged in right here. On the bottom here, it does say PBH company
I was just going to say that looks like the PBH case, like they used for their serial to parallel, but it had a rotary switch to go between the baud rate.
Right. So I'm not sure what this does have a button right here.
Is that to switch between baud rates?
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering, but it's like, how do you know? You just have to kind of like guess.
You just try printing and see if garbage comes out, I guess.
Yeah, and then you hit the button to go again. So I don't know, but I had not seen this one before, and I just happened to. When I saw it on eBay, it actually was listed for I think they thought it was like Apple or Atari or something like that. And when I saw that connector, it's like no.
Although I guess we're commingling the printer adapter and the serial adapter, or is that? I mean, that could be just a real. We're taking the bit banger and turning it into a Quasar.
But that case is definitely the PBH case that the
right. But they may have had this product that no one's heard about.
I wonder when PBH got out of the CoCo market, maybe these guys took over selling the equivalent interface and used the same cases from PBH.
I mean, and it could be just a failed product. I mean, who would? What is the DIN plug? Is it the serial port or the?
4-pin DIN. Yep. So it'd be the serial.
So rather than a printer adapter, it could just be.
Well,
it's not a switcher like some of them were because there's only one. There's only one DIN on there, right?
Yeah. So this would have gone probably just take serial to parallel.
Oh, it's a Centron. So it's a printer adapter. Then never mind. I thought that was a DB25.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Never mind.
So yeah. But I'd never seen this one before, and it wasn't even listed as a color computer one. It just happened to pop up on there, and when I saw that, it's like, no, that's CoCo, not Apple, or I can't remember. It was either Apple or Atari.
And PBH, I think, just made for CoCo.
Right, and it's got a Radio Shack power supply, so.
Yeah, when I saw Archer, and Archer was in the description, so that kind of caught my eye at first. So,
I mentioned Peter Willard in the chat asked, didn't Alan Huffman create the CUTS tool for binary terminations over dial-up? I don't think it was Alan Huffman that did that, but I could be wrong. I do know what he's talking about. There's a CUTS decoder and encoder that you could send binary files over, like email back in the day, where it had encoded in 6 or 7 bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like UU encoding.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I do have one more thing that was part of the stuff that I got from James Jones. I forgot I had it set up on the desk because I didn't want to lose it. Let me slide this out of the way. And this was just kind of a fun one. Kind of a neat, though. But a rubber stamp. A rubber stamp. A rubber stamp, and it says, "I'm a CoCo Nut, Rainbow Fest 1988."
Cool.
So
I was at that one.
Rainbow Fist tchotchkes.
Yes.
Did Rainbow give those out, or did some?
I don't remember. I kind of faintly remember seeing one, but I don't remember where I saw it. If it was at the Rainbow booth or was some other third party.
I would be stamping them all over everything in my life in '88.
Yep.
And everyone else's life, they would hate me because of me and my CoCo stamp.
Right?
I feel like I need to have one of those.
Right?
I like the fact that it has a palm tree because I'm sitting in snow here, so that counts. Though I will say we're actually going to be in above freezing temperatures for all of this upcoming week. So
nice. So that's all I got for you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay, shall we do our break and then game on?
Yep.
Sure. If Ken's awake.
Hello, everyone. It's your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, joined by that dastardly The Brent from ARG Presents.
You're watching CoCoNation.
I feel like that should have been longer.
The CoCoNation Show would like to thank the following patrons: AC's 8-Bit Zone, Alex Gare, Alan Huffman, Barry Tompkinson, Boysen Tech, Brendan Donnie, Brian Walsh, Brian Weasler, Karen Askham, Coconut Bob, Daddy Burrito, David Ladd, Derek Smithson, Diego BF109, Don Barber, Eric Canales, Frederick Segard, Glenn Hewlett, Graham Wabke, Grant Leedy, Henry Gernhardt, Henry Strickland, Jason Warrens, Jeffrey Drywater, Jim Mullis, Justin Larson, Ken Reichard, Kevin Holloway, Mark Castellan, Michael Hill, Patrick Euland, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, R. Allen Murphy, Richard Harding, Rob Inman, Rocky Hill, Steve Batson, Terry Trapp, TJB Chris, Tom C., Tom Gunderson, Tom S., William Athing. Thank you so much, patrons. If you would like to support the CoCoNation show, sign up at patreon.thecoconation.com.
Hey everyone, I'm TJB Chris, and I'm watching the CoCoNation live show, and so are you. And probably shouldn't be pointing that thing at you. Enjoy!
The CoCoNation would like to thank our Discord boosters, Boysen Tech, Frederick Micro Hobbyist Sagard, Glenside Computer Club, Paul Fiscarelli, Paul Shoemaker, and Wingnut 2626. Please consider joining Discord and visiting the welcome section to see what the community has to offer. Just go to discord.thecoconation.com.
Welcome everybody to the CoCoNation Game On Challenge of the Week results video. This week, we played Gauntlet 2. We had a total of 12 players. We had Joshua Craker with 4985, Mike Zweifel 5070, David Craker 5665, Jim Rye 6155, Mark O 6350, Ed Rhodes 9450, Canadian Retro Things 10,910, Sloopy Malibu 11,245, Dr. Ted 16,100, Tasman 22,435, Coconut Bob 25,925, and this week's number one score belongs to OSKer with 32,265. Thanks everybody that played. We'll see you again next week.
Okay, and the CoCoNation salutes, and which name did I forget already?
Oscar.
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 CoCoNation salutes Oscar. Salute.
That was quick even for you, Mark.
Sucks getting old.
Worse, it's not that hard of a name.
So who's Oscar? That's a new name on the list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not sure that was first time I've seen him post a score. So
One of those
He wasn't on the
lurkers.
live?
No, he posted it in the Discord.
yeah, I posted it actually right at the beginning of the 2 weeks. So
One of our lurker viewers.
Going through the lists of magazines and stuff, I managed to find one review of Gauntlet 2. And this was in The Wizard's Castle, August 1988. So basically, it's a short review. Says that the game shines with color and speed, just like the 16-bit machines. It's got super high-res, quality, detailed graphics, super realistic sounds, and you can have up to 4 people playing. There's 18 different levels that he knows of, the author here, and if you've seen the arcade version, then you're basically looking at that on the CoCo. So I'm going to guess that this Jerry Downey really liked the game.
Oh, it plays really well. I mean,
it is really good.
And after the stupid Tetris-like game where I can't drop the blocks very well, this would work great.
You think that game's bad? Wait till you see what I chose for this week.
Oh no, it can get worse.
Can always get worse.
Yeah,
but
this is one game that Diecom, I think they did this twice. They did it with Gates of Delirium earlier, and then with Gauntlet 2, where the first initial ads in Rainbow were fairly plain. Like if you see the first preview photos of Gauntlet 2, you'll see like totally black backgrounds with just walls and players and the objects. When the game actually came out, they had full backgrounds and everything else. It was much closer to the arcade than the original ad did. And the only other game they actually changed it that much before release, I think, was Gates of Delirium.
Okay. But,
Still trivia.
Picked up speed as they went.
Definitely a good game that it'd be actually fun if I had 3 friends that to actually sit down and try playing this with all of them. But
Yeah,
we need a FujiNet adaptation of this where we can just share across the net.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You'd still need 3 friends, so that's a problem.
Or like Bob said,
Yeah.
I could train my cats. But then it would be really embarrassing.
I don't even have cats.
Cats beat you.
They got better reflexes than you do.
Cat shot the elf.
Actually, my cats would just steal all the food from me. Every time there was food on the screen, they'd just steal it. So
Kevin Holloway wants to know, where would you look for friends?
I have no
I don't
idea.
know.
That's why I don't have any. But yeah, anyways, definitely a good game. As we kind of talked about a bit last week, for tips and tricks for this game. If there's a lot of bad guys on the screen, it's really good to just let a few get onto the screen, and as soon as they start coming for you, just walk away from them, and then no more bad guys can join them, so you can just pick off all those guys, and then go and get another group of bad guys onto the screen and kill them, and just do it methodically. Don't run out into the middle.
It also gives you some working room so that you can shoot and turn.
Yeah.
And I like the 8 quadrants. You can turn, quarter turns or eighth turns.
Yeah.
Being
Not
able to
all
shoot on
90
the diagonals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, do the maps in order. Don't use the jump ahead. To level 8 or something like that. Exits.
Well, if you want to do that, but if you really
but if you want a high score,
jump ahead.
Yeah.
If you want a high score,
earlier.
definitely. But it's also a good thing that you can jump ahead and see what some of the later levels look like. They're really hard if you haven't picked up all this stuff from the other levels.
Yeah, there's a lot more magical items in this one than there is in the original Gauntlet or some of the other Gauntlet clones like Glove, etc. that we have.
It's actually interesting. When I did one of the ones where I jumped ahead, I got something that made my weapon bounce off the walls.
Yeah,
which was fun, but if you were in a small hallway and you shot sideways, then your weapon would just sit there and bounce back and forth until you either walked off the screen and it disappeared, or a ghost or a bad guy walked into it and you couldn't shoot again.
Until it was gone.
Till it was gone. So
yeah, this was, I think, probably Dave. Well, Dave wasn't the only one writing this one. There's a few people involved, but I think this is one of the best arcade clones they did. It was the closest. They actually did digitized sound effects from arcades, like when you eat the food, when you go down the exit and stuff. They don't have the music, obviously, which is a real mood setter in the original. But the original Gauntlet in the arcade in '85 was like 6,000 to 8,000 with a couple extra CPUs for sound and stuff. Like, it was a high end machine. To get it this close on a 6809 at 2 megahertz with no sound chip, pretty damned impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun if you turn, like if you're using an emulator and you crank the megahertz right up. Boy, does that run fast.
Yeah, it's not frame locked.
It's not frame locked.
Yeah. I did make a slight 609 patch version of this I never released because it didn't really increase the speed that much. It's a little bit smoother. I guess when you get more monsters on the screen, it kind of keeps up a little bit better. I don't know if that's worth releasing or not, but
it's always worth releasing.
I'd like to figure out some more optimizations for release, because most of the ones I've released 609 upgrades, they speed up a good 20% to 200% depending on the game, and this one sped up like 1.2% or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
well,
pretty efficient.
Still, 1.2% is 1.2%. I actually found that playing it on VCC, I cranked the CPU up one notch, and it played a lot smoother and just, seemed to just play a bit better.
Yeah. Jim Rye has a comment in the chat. He said the arcade version killed you as fast as possible. This version lets you play a while first. That's true. The arcade one was meant to suck quarters, so it really encouraged you to have 4 players.
And I did pump a lot of quarters into this game when I was a kid.
Both gauntlets I did at the university. That's why I missed a lot of classes.
So is this one of the games where you could put in more quarters to extend your life?
Yes.
Yes.
You had, was 150 hit points or something, or 300?
A quarter hand and a joystick in the other.
You could last
just
forever
like
if you're rich.
auction, just like auction bidding.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I gotta
go a little bit further. Chunk, chunk, chunk.
Yeah. The best part of the arcade game, and with the CoCo game, because I have played this with 4 players, it's a bit cramped on the keyboard, but it does work, is that if you can cooperate with 3 or 4 players, you can actually like guard somebody that's gotten hit and made weaker, so that until you get food and let them get it. But if you get greedy, you'll just basically lose a bunch of your party members.
What we used to do is you guard the magic user, let him get all the potions, and then he destroys.
Yeah, because he can blow up death and all the monsters on the screen, whereas the other ones would kill some or barely do anything.
So if you're
David
playing
Craker
in
has a comment
multiplayer,
too.
there's. Oh yeah.
Yeah, David Craker has a comment about 2-player. He and his son Josh.
Oh yeah, it says Josh and I had lots of fun with Gauntlet 2 in 2-player mode, racing to get keys, food, and treasure first, blocking each other's way. Wish we played more. Yeah, you're supposed to be a bit more cooperative than that, but that is
not
the
always.
whole point of it, right? It
was also fun in the arcades if you really wanted to mess with your friends. If they're like dying and they're going for food, you run ahead of them and grab the food.
Yeah, that's how I lost friends. That's why I haven't done either. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like this was like kind of like the arcade version of D&D, and which I loved D&D back at this time period too. And the fact that you could do that meant you obviously those characters are chaotic evil, and if you actually are helping each other, you might be lawful good.
Or you could be true neutral and just let them get stuff sometimes and steal stuff from them the other times.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Gauntlet games in the arcade. That was when that first showed up, the first Gauntlet, the entire arcade basically abandoned every other machine we had, and there was lineups just to watch this game. Quarters lined up on the side of the screen here for people getting in line to play. It was a phenomenon.
Yep. I remember it well.
This might be a fun to set up a CoCoFEST on a nice system for people to play.
Yeah.
Team play.
Yeah, big screen TV, like a nice 70 inch would be nice.
Yep,
to have the crowds come around and just watch.
There you go. Somebody get like a projection thing, and then you can make like 150 inch TV.
Broadcast it on the wall.
Broadcast it on the wall, and 4 people can sit. Actually, get something the size of the Dino Wars backdrop.
Poster.
And then you can have that at the end of the room, and people can just play, and you can see it from the whole room.
Yep. And as far as I know, as far as arcade games, not turn-based games, obviously, but I think this is the only 4-player simultaneous we had, wasn't it? Was there any others?
Back
I know
in the
several
day, I think it
threes,
was.
like
There is-
Rampage
there
and the
is-
original Gauntlet, but
Rampage
I think
was
there is-
3 though.
yeah, like it's a 3. We have several that I know of, but I think this is the only 4-player arcade game simultaneous.
Well, there's another one that divides the screen. What's that one that divides the screen into 4 separate
Oh,
little
right.
screens?
Dungeons.
And-
Dungeons.
Dungeons.
Here
The dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
But
Yeah, that's another Gauntlet style, but it's not quite the same as a Gauntlet clone.
Yeah, because in this one, all 4 characters, you can't leave the screen. And in that
Right.
one, your characters, you just have a mini screen and each character.
Dungeons
Yeah, you
has
get to
4
wander wherever
screens.
you want.
Yeah.
And that's one of the strategies, because you get when somebody go exploring up some zigzag path that, when you haven't been in the level before, and all of a sudden you find you're trapped and you have to wander all the way back, following each other halfway up the screen just to get the guy untrapped and then go somewhere else.
No, it's this would definitely be a good game for the CoCoFEST, where to kind of have on display for people to play, and you can get together with your friends. And
Yeah, you can even set up tournaments. You can set up groups of 4 and like you have work your way down like a Stanley Cup chain or something like that.
There's that friends thing again.
And I think that one of the nice things about this one is that for something like that, it's one where, as far as I know, there's no way to extend your play, is there? Other than obviously picking up food in the game. Like,
You mean like cheating? Like quarters?
you can't
wise?
add another credit or anything like that.
Well, maybe in MAME you could. You just run the debugger, go modify a couple memory addresses as you're playing, but
Well, if you're going to do that, you just give yourself give yourself unlimited health.
and there was cheat pokes. I remember from back in the day. You could modify the disk image to start.
But I mean,
with,
if you're
way more
playing
health.
like just from scratch, like when you're getting low on health, you can't just hit the start button to throw in another 800 health or whatever.
Yeah. No, it's a really good game. And for those who, I think I mentioned this last week, if you go in the Collector Archive, somebody actually wrote a thing to view the maps, and you can edit the maps. That's on the Collector Archive. So you can actually create your own levels. You can also take a look at all the levels that are in the game.
So how many actually is there in this game?
Oh, I didn't have a chance to really fire that up again. I did run it last time. Was it 15 or 20 or something like that?
Well, because the article said that there was 18 that he knew of. So
Okay. I think it was an even number, so it might have been 20, but I don't remember for sure. We did cover it on the show like years ago when I actually did show it.
before my time, I think, or I just wasn't paying attention to you.
Yeah, well, that hasn't changed over the years either. So.
What?
It's an annoying buzzing like a fly I'm hearing. It's
Too many hours in the car with you. I've learned how to just completely block you out.
Well, that was all the Nitrous 9 talk. I apologize for that. No, I don't.
But all in all, I would say one of the definitely more impressive games for the CoCo 3. And
Yeah, I would say probably one of the most, I would put in the top 5 for 128K CoCo 3 games.
Yeah. And definitely something that would absolutely blow your mind back in the day if you picked that up when it came out.
Yeah, that was one I actually bought. Oh, right at the fest.
And actually, like that article said, I mean, it plays as well as any of the 16-bit ports games out there.
Yeah. The only thing we're missing compared to some of the 16-bit ports was background music, but those machines had dedicated sound chips and 16-bit processors, so.
And higher clock rates.
And honestly, I don't think I missed the background music.
It's
got the sound effects, so
yeah, I miss the music a little bit because it did change depending on what was happening and what level you're on. The thing I missed the most would have been the voices, because the narrator or whatever you want, shot the food, so you knew exactly who was the idiot who shot the destructible food when somebody's starving to death.
Or when,
So the
if you're
whole
not
blame
paying
game.
attention, it tells you Warrior needs food.
Yeah, badly if you're really getting close to death.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely an impressive game. So
Yeah, and a huge improvement over the original Gauntlet that they released a couple years earlier on the CoCo 1 and 2.
yeah, well, that's why I chose this one. Much better.
Yeah, have we played the original Gauntlet?
I don't think so.
Because there is a 639 version of that is a pretty big speed increase. So for those of you who
okay.
thought it was too slow before, that might be one to visit.
Well, I'll have to take a look at that because I'm pretty sure I tried the original and Yeah, one of the things was I found it a little laggy and.
Yeah, if you run it on a CoCo 3, like the cracked version, you can load it and run it at double speed, and then it's a bit better. But yeah, we did a 609 optimized version, which actually sped up quite a bit, even on stock.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Does anybody have any other tips or tricks about this game, or anything else they want to say about it? People.
Learn the levels. You don't have to kill every monster in every monster generator. If you're going for points, I mean, you can kill them as you're going, but I would just concentrate on getting the food, getting the magical items that you need. Make sure the magical items go to the right type of player if you're playing multiplayer. As Ken mentioned, a wizard can handle potions way better than, say, an elf, and an elf can handle it way better than a warrior type thing. So, you pick and choose which ones you're in the party. You have to think the whole D&D, cooperative party thing if you want to get really good scores on it with multiplayers.
Yep.
Yeah. Or just get really far in the game.
Yeah. Memorize the maps, I guess. That's the other one. That's pretty well any adventure style, D&D style game.
Because you can take a lot of time just exploring around and having to kill a lot of monsters to find the exit if you don't know where it is. Especially when you start getting down into the later levels.
Yeah, and that's what that editor viewer of the level editor that's on the Code Computer Archive comes in handy, because you can kind of look ahead, maybe take some screenshots. I don't know what the maze layout is. Very impressive game. It's one of my favorite 120K games, and it's I think I'd have to say in my top 3 simultaneous multiplayer games of all CoCo games all the way through.
Okay. Anybody else, or should we move on to the other game?
Nope, I'd say move on.
Okay, well, that is the end of Gauntlet 2. Definitely a game that if you want to impress your friends with your CoCo 3, then fire that up and you can play cooperative games with them and make them into converts from the old Ataris and especially Commodore. If you have friends that are Commodore users, get them to play this game. They'll be so shocked at the colors that they see.
And the sound.
It's not all brown.
All right, so the other game that we played this week was Pickwitch, which just basically that's a reaction game.
Yeah.
So you've got a limited amount of time to find a good square, know what the squares do, and a good source of that is taking a look at this
loser's website.
Curtis Boyle. L. Curtis Boyle, I think, is the name of the guy that has a games website.
Is that what the L stands for, Curtis?
Loser Curtis Boyle.
It's that Spanish guy.
Curtis Boyle. There you go. Nailed it.
But it's actually really good to take a look at his listing of the game here, or his write-up on the game here, because it's got what each tile does. Because some do good things, some do bad things, and some end your
are pretty
game,
neutral.
So.
Yeah.
And some are neutral, yeah. So.
I found I got a better score if I just either randomly rotated the joystick or just did nothing.
That sounds like Neutroid.
Yeah, so it's a Nick
Burke
style
do
game.
nothing.
Let it play itself.
I think on my VCC it was playing a little too fast. Is what was going on.
That could be. Did anybody get a chance to go back and review the interview with Dale Lear, the author, that talked about a bit of the game? Because there's a game, one of the very first games he tried to commercially sell, and Spectral just did not promote this game at all, which was sad because it was meant for younger kids a bit, but it's colorful, it's got some good action to it, it's got it's unique, original concept, and even has some like nice little musical tunes and stuff on certain tiles. I actually found it quite fun when we played it after we interviewed him.
Sixty says it's amazing how many games ran under Nitrous 9 according to the URL of that games page.
Yeah, well, we've moved a couple of them over to OS9. It's like Dexter plays better under Nitrous 9 than it does on the original cart.
Yeah, so for tips and tricks, I don't know. Just
memorize what the squares do. That's the biggest one.
Memorize what the squares do.
I would not risk a chance one
No,
unless
because that can give you a stop sign and end your game randomly.
And it seems to favor stop versus the other ones from what I remember playing.
And the scissors are not good either.
Is that when you lose half your points or something?
Yeah, it cuts half your score.
Yeah. It doesn't kill you, so you can still play and try to regain it. But yeah, that's a pretty big, especially when you've gotten pretty good scores, all of a sudden half of it's gone.
Oh, so this is one of those, if you have to think about what each icon means, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You have to just know. Scissors bad. Without thinking that's a scissors, it is bad.
And I do like the zoom effect you did when you
fail
select the tile too. It almost looks like looks like you're going through layers.
Oh, why Mark B was so successful just randomly poking at.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, if you got to think about it, I'm screwed. I'm just gonna click.
Yeah, I wasn't really selecting
I'm with
anything.
you, brother.
Just do it. Actually, the biggest thing is just remember stop sign bad.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Anything else you can recover from. Except for maybe chance, because chance might give you stop sign.
A stop sign.
Yeah. I quite liked it. Like Dale in the interview said it was meant for younger kids. I found it perfectly fun as an adult. I know Steve Sturbridge does as well. And it's fun just having a game that's unique. That's one of those ones that it was never ported to any machine. It's not based on anything else as far as I know. It was a completely original concept by Dale.
It would make a good casual play game for modern phones.
Yep.
Yeah, where you just have to like tap them as you go.
Yeah. Yep. I know.
And one of Dale's
Dale
other
Weir
games
was-
did get ported to portable. Doubleback has had a
Doubleback. Yeah, he was working on it.
Yeah, we sold it for a while because I had a copy of it, and I think he pulled it off the store after some point because he wasn't bothering to update it with iOS updates or something.
Yep, they get dropped after a while.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the Thursday night show? Unless anybody
unless
else has
Sloopy's
anything?
hiding in the background again, he can actually do his own segment. But
No, of course not.
Be calmed.
Okay, so here we go, and there we go. So as you can see, we had a few people in playing, well, Gauntlet, and somebody's playing. Oh, that's probably Mark playing Memory.
Yeah, the matching game.
Yeah.
Hint, Mark, it's not working.
Yeah, I know.
You can see why he was struggling.
Yeah.
Right.
I think.
Sorry, had to go there.
We have 4 or 5. I think 6 people playing at once.
And a cat.
And a cat. Very happy looking kitty.
Yeah.
Trying to steal your sandwich, it looks like.
No. She just missed me all day.
But yeah, we're definitely having fun playing games and hanging out. So that's just a reminder to people that anybody can join us on the Discord. Just go to the Game On Challenge Live channel on Thursday nights at 5 o'clock Western time or 8 o'clock Eastern. And just hop in, and you can play on emulators, you can play on real hardware, however you want to get it going. You can even play on the archive. Just hit the Play Now button and share your screen. And if you can't do that, you can join us on YouTube or Twitch.
And heckle.
In the audience and heckle us, yes. Let's see here.
Oh, there's some gameplay with.
Yeah, let's see. I'm
Big
just
Witch.
trying to find some here. Okay, there we got some gameplay of what it looks like to play Pickwitch.
I did some Pickwitch at the beginning.
Yeah, we got a couple of, I think, or is it, this is just, they're not actually playing here. Let's see, oh, there we go. So as you can see, you only have a second or two to choose which you're going to choose before you zoom in and either get the points for it or lose the points or whatever. And as you can see, there is a number of different things that you can choose from, so you gotta know what gives you points and what takes points away.
But only one thing that actually kills you?
just the stop sign. Or, as we said, the chance sign can give you a stop sign. So.
And of course, you get that map when you can see all the tiles, which is a nice one to get too.
Yeah.
I like the fact he actually has that zoom animation.
Yeah, it looks nice, especially for an early CoCo game.
Yeah, just a little 16K on cassette. That's how it was sold.
And not one that I was ever familiar with when I was.
I did not know those existed until we interviewed Dale.
Yeah.
That was how advertised it was in Rainbow Spectral ads.
Which is unfortunate, because I think this would have been a fun game to have just as a casual playing game.
Yeah.
And even when I got older, something for my younger cousins and stuff to play when they were over. And
as Marco said, this would actually make a good modern game. We can drag your finger around and try to, on a phone or some tablet or something.
Yep. Tap, select.
All right, now I want to see if I can find. I should have looked at this ahead of time.
I think actually kind of amazing that a lot of the games that are considered casual games, like Flappy Bird and stuff like that, actually work just fine on 8-bit systems. It's like, wow. It's like casual gameplay, other than some of the graphic animations and resolution, would work fine on a 40-year-old computer.
Well, once you reduce a game to its actual game parts and not the 3D animated graphics with swirls and sparkles, it's a lot simpler.
Yeah, and Paul Shoemaker's converted quite a few over from that. Like Ghost Rush and stuff all started as casual games on phones first, and then he put them to the CoCo and pick which would be a good one to go the other way.
Yep, and they're perfectly fine.
Now, one thing I did do in Gauntlet is I had cranked up the speed, but I don't know when I did it. So,
like I said, my little 609 optimization version of it is not that much faster. It's a little smoother. Like you kind of see a ripple effect as it's drawing the tiles. As it scrolls, it kind of smooths that out a bit. But
well, here, if you look at the game that's going in the top left corner there, that's mine. This is where I cranked up the VCC as high as it would go.
That's pretty well unplayable, I think.
Yeah.
He lasted 4 seconds.
And got 0.
I did not. I got 400 points.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at your health.
My health went down to 0 really quickly.
Really quick.
Even without actually getting hit by the ghosts, your health is all done in about 10 seconds.
That's about what it looked like when I made it to level 7.
And Mark, I was going to say that your screen looks a lot dimmer. Was that just your capture software or the emulator? Or what?
I'm using OBS, and I don't know. I noticed it is a little bit dimmer. You can see my camera that I'm capturing with OBS looks fine. So
I think your capture often looks a little dimmer than everybody else's, but that's because you're playing on real hardware through a capture card. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, I'm using a switcheroo and going to a SCART. And then the output, I'm running it through a USB 3 capture device, and then capturing OBS.
I get it. Your nuclear green background is messing up the average.
Oh yeah, it might. It might.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's muting the other colors because it's.
Yeah, because that's part of OBS. That's the background color in OBS versus the image. So yeah, it might. So yeah, I should probably go mess with that at some point.
Trying to get the average down normal, and
because I do know that mine does that too. Sometimes when I capture certain things, when I capture it, it dims them a lot.
The SCART
capture card.
Yeah. The SCART boxes, they need a higher value capacitor.
Yeah.
Than a 220.
Well, and it's like recording on a cassette recorder where it wants to average out the volume. These video boxes want to average out the brightness, so you can't make it do what it should do. You just kind of get what it wants to do, and you have to work around it.
Yeah, I might try a different. The switcheroos have they have resistors in them too. I might try a different one. I have a couple of them, so should probably try a different one, see if I get a different value, different outlook.
I think it's going to be more the SCART box than anything else.
Right. It might be. I got a couple of those also. I got like 3 or 4 of the SCART to HDMI boxes, and
I have little SCART adapters that I put trimmer pots on.
Right, instead of a fixed value.
Makes it easier to change the capacitors and stuff, and you can actually tune your video levels.
I'm just relying upon Coco Man's good judgment.
Yep.
Well, there's your problem.
I miss the days when these capture boxes used to have like you could change the video gain, process amp gain and stuff. You can't do that anymore. It's just all automatic, and I've got it taken care of. The properties menu says, the name of the device, and that's about it. It's just irritating nowadays.
Yeah, Chris Duras in the chat is saying his switcheroo gives him a dim image too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too excessive then.
Honestly,
I've always found that like if I'm doing videos with the switcheroo, I often have to in post pop the colors up a bit.
Okay.
More than resistors, actually a higher value capacitor is what I found helped. 330 instead of a 220.
Capacitor. So a microfarad.
That might be a good project for you, Ken, for your channels to do that upgrade and show the difference.
Yeah.
Well, if you want some of my little adapter boards to make it easier to just experiment, it's almost like a breadboard.
Okay. I might think about that too.
Yeah.
And it's got the, you can just plug in a 10-pin ribbon cable to it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, anyway. I could probably put that between, I could probably modify one of my switcheroos so that it just doesn't have any resistors or capacitors in it and rely upon your board in between. So I'd have the 10-pin out to your board and then directly out to the SCART adapter.
Now, here would be an interesting experiment, Mark. Cut your headshot sometime.
Okay.
And leave the capture going and see if the white light from your headshot fades away and lets the gauntlet background become white.
Good point.
Because I shoot a lot of photographs for eBay, and you can't light the light box very bright, or you end up with
because the auto white balance.
The picture gets dimmer. Yeah. Hey, it's getting darker. The more I turn the lights up, the darker it gets.
Yeah.
Oh well. This week on decoding with CoCo Nuts.
By the way, 60 in the chat says, I've long thought it would be fun to make something that generates SDI out. Plenty of hardware to interface with that, just maybe a bit expensive.
But it'd be fun to do on 40-year-old hardware.
All right, well, yeah, Thursday nights in the Game On Challenge Discord channel, the Game On Challenge live channel. You can join us. Or join us on Twitch or YouTube and heckle us.
Mercilessly.
But definitely just remember to have fun. So, shall we take a look at what our next game is going to be?
Yes. Hit us with that new game.
Okay, well. Dun dun dun. Here we go.
Drum roll. Base game.
I
looks like it run on MC10.
No, this is
like a basic Pac-Man, I'm guessing.
Hex Dung Beetles? I mean,
no. This is one of those snake-style games.
Oh, okay.
Now, this particular
and I'm going to
one,
guess right now you're running it in composite mode on an RGB monitor, vice versa, because that gray probably shouldn't be there.
That's supposed to be yellow.
Sure. But, just looks nice. I like the gray. The color changes.
Well, I say like CoCo 3, you can just change the color, the default colors, and make whatever the hell you want.
Anyways, we get this game courtesy of a Mr. Coconut Bob, who fixed this game from a listing in one of the magazines. And has made it much more playable.
It was.
So, so I'll be including on the Game On Challenge channel, or the High Score Challenge channel, the actual disc for this. It's got both versions on it, the original, if you want to go through the pain of playing this game, and it's got Bob's fixed version. Bob, did you want to talk about it?
So is it fixed about? Yeah, I was just about to ask. Is fixes and bugs or more optimized, or what's the difference?
No, basically, if you play the original version, it's a lot like something that we played recently, where a Pac-Man game where if you let go of the buttons, you just stop, or if you turn too early, it stops.
Oh, okay.
So when this is one of those games that you had to hit the button exactly when you're at the turn, or else you lose. And I didn't like that, so I just modified the controls so that you could press the key early, and when you get to the corner, you'll turn.
And I would also like to point out one thing, that if you read the instructions on this, it gives you keys for Bob's modified version. It gives you the keys that were originally there, and he's changed it to the arrow keys. So
yeah, I forgot about that.
So don't listen to the instructions if you're playing Bob's modified version. It's the arrow keys.
So they didn't. What did they use for the original keys?
Oh, like, I don't know. What was it? It was like...
I think it's inverted T pattern, but in the letters. But it's not like a WASD.
So
yeah, it's over on the other side. I think it's OKL and colon or something. Like, it was a weird setup, and...
That's useless.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's another one of those that might make more sense on a CoCo 1 keyboard.
No.
But regardless, I made it the arrow keys. So if somebody wants to make it a different set of keys, it's a basic program. So
yeah,
if I could do it, you can do it.
Yeah, so, Karen says so. You can play it on. You should play it on CoCo 1 or 2, is what you're saying, because of course on the CoCo 3, the 4 arrow keys are all crammed in a little diamond shape, which isn't great for games.
Well, right, is no better than the.
Well, you can just use two hands, or if you're playing it on it makes a lot more sense playing it on an emulator, because.
Or an Artemis keyboard.
Or my keyboard, we can just switch the arrows.
Yeah, you just hit the switch and it goes back to CoCo 1 and 2 and puts your arrow keys on separate hands, which is the best way to play Phantom Slayer, by the way.
Yes. Anyway, so there's a couple of weird things about this game. We'll be playing it on skill level 3, which is weird because 4 is the easiest and 1 is the hardest. So we'll play it on 3. And you want to make your snake as long as possible at the start. Because the best way to think about it is however long your snake is how many hit points you have. Because every time you run into a wall and don't turn right away, you start losing the back end of your snake. So if you have a really short snake, you die quickly. If you have a really long snake, you've got time to hit something and turn if you do.
Unless you're trapped.
Unless you're trapped. Up front. So go with the longest possible snake at the start, and then you have basically more hit points. Is the way to think about it. It's completely opposite from other snake games.
So when you hit so hard that your tail...
Your head stops and your tail keeps coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
and
that
if your tail
actually
catches up to your head, that's when you lose.
So when you are actually going around the screen, if you hit your own body, then you just have to sit there and wait for the tail to go by as it shrinks.
Oh, shrink down till you can go by. That's evil.
Yeah.
And it is possible to get down to a length of 1 and keep going. But as soon as you miss a corner,
yeah, you're in danger.
You got to really take those corners well.
We need your corner cut to do that, right?
And then every time you get to a new level, it takes 10 off of your length until you get down to, I think, a minimum of 10. Or
I think you started with the lowest you can start with is a minimum of 10, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But it gets shorter and shorter, and then like if you end with the length of 1, your next round you'll have 10.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 10 is the minimum it'll start you with.
And out of curiosity, if you complete a maze, does it the maze change or does it just refresh? the maze?
It's the same maze constantly, but it gets a little bit faster.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's our game for the next 2 weeks. And the other game, of course, is Pickwitch for one more week. So, and as I said, I'll include the disc image on the channel. I'll pin it in the channel for you to for people to get. This is you haven't sent this to the archive, have you, Bob?
That disc, no, but the original is already on the archive. I guess I should submit that.
Yeah.
I say the original is on the archive. It's in the magazine disc listing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
For some issues. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and upload that.
The only Python on the archive is MC10 game.
Yeah.
Is that the same game converted by Jim, or is that a totally
Might
different
be.
thing?
Might be.
Let's see here. I have the. I can actually. I guess you can drop the disk image in the game on.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Discord.
include it with the listing here, or I'll pin it in the Game On Challenge high score channel, and then anybody that needs it can just download it from there until it's on the archive.
Thank you, Ken.
So Hot Cocoa, July 1984.
Yeah.
Oh, their 1 year anniversary issue then.
Oh, one more thing. This program was written by a Canadian, so even if no Canadians show up to the Game On Challenge, we'll at least have some
Canadian content covered.
Hey! Well, that's all I have to say. So
cool. It's nice picking some of those games too, because you won't see those on my gaming page for quite a long time. I'm trying to get through all the commercial ones first.
Well, I would think that as we choose them for the Game On Challenge,
You should appear.
Game of the Week, you should be adding them as we do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, unfortunately, where I'm stuck right now is I'm doing a bunch of the educational releases, which have like 10 mini games in them. So it takes quite a while to play them all to figure out what the heck's going on, and then do all
Falling
the screenshots.
asleep in the middle of writing the article. And...
I'm specifically choosing games that aren't on the archive to try and give you more work, Curtis.
Well, it'll help. I mean, I've mentioned that Brian actually shipped me the extra Macs there, and they're en route. So once I have them, I can set one up at Judy's place too. That'll give me a chance to actually start getting back into it, because trying to run back and forth all the time, that doesn't leave me much time to do anything. So thanks, Brian, for that. And once it shows up, I should be able to start getting that page going again. I was in the middle of doing one of the Tandy released. I can't remember. It was one of the children's computer workshop ones. There's 8 in a row I'm doing right now, because I'm trying to do them kind of in date order when were they released, to try to match chronologically gaming, which I should mention is coming back after their break. But he's expanding. Like, he was doing one show a week for an hour, and now he's going to be doing 2 shows a week, I think 2 hours each or something like that. So he's going to be covering through the stuff a lot faster. So we might see some CoCo games coming in, because I think he's in December of '82, and there's some CoCo games coming up pretty soon.
Hopefully those machines make it there soon for you. So,
as long as they make them intact. I mean, if they take a little bit longer, I'd rather have them intact than, hey, we rushed it. We threw it off this plane into a big bin and it broke.
Right.
I got them packed pretty good, so.
Okay. Ready for some news?
Yep. Start off the gaming news, but yep.
When you want the latest in TRS-80, Tandy, Dragon, MC10, and all of their hardware cousins. No matter what it takes, or where news breaks, from around the world to your nation. The CoCoNation News with L. Curtis Boyle.
Okay, so start of the gaming news. I did want to mention. I think I will be able to make next week's show too. So that'll be the first time in a while I've done 3 in a row. So expect longer shows. That's about all I can say there.
Woo!
Okay, so first up, we've got Paul Shoemaker, who we mentioned last week is doing a port of the Quarks game that the 8-bit guy did, which is basically a clone of Columns. We have some of those already on the CoCo 3. John Strong has done Gems and Gems 2, which is also based on that, which is vaguely Tetris-like, except you could rotate, 3 vertical shapes, and you've got to try to get 3 or more in a row, and as soon as you connect those, they blow up and you get points. This has been a very rapid-fire one here. He's based it on the Commodore 64 graphics, I think, from the 8-bit guy who's done multiple versions for the VIC-20, the PET, Commodore 64. Other people are doing the cross-platform changes too, or conversions, I should say. So anyway, he released 2 works in progress. The first one is he's actually got multi-voice music on the title screen, courtesy of some routines by Simon Jonason, and this actually includes a noise channel to do fake drums, kind of a little bit similar to the way the Sid would do it. He doesn't have any game music in the actual game itself. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look to see if the other versions like the C64 do or not. Because it's a 4-voice engine running in the background on an FIRQ, I think he probably could. He's also planning on making a CoCo 1 and 2 version. And he's also mentioned that Mr. Dave 609 is helping him convert it to be a 32K ROM cartridge. And they're going to be getting, from the sounds of it, I think some of the orange cartridges that John Linville and Mark Siegel and Blanchard have actually produced a while ago. They ordered a whole bunch, and these are not 3D printed. These are actual, full-blown die cast, or not die cast, what is it called?
Molded.
Injected molded.
Injected mold, thank you. Type cartridges. So they'll be orange, just like some of the stuff that Rick Adams and some others have used recently. But expect that it's actually going to be sold with an actual cartridge. In fact, I'll be covering that a little bit later in the news too, because the 8-bit guy himself actually put one of his yearly update videos, and he actually shows a little bit of a prototype of that. But anyway, here's Work in Progress 2 from Paul. And now I can hear the music. Okay, I'm hoping that you can hear that in the background. Yep. I do like the little shimmer effect going across the Quarks title on the top too. Now that first progress video is basically just to show the title screen music, and then it goes a little bit of gameplay, but he did a second work in progress just yesterday. And this one actually has sound effects in the game, which I don't believe the previous one showed. So he's still got the title screen music, which I'll kind of just skip over because we've already seen it. But he actually, on the gameplay, it does have a few sound effects, like when you actually bust some of the columns, etc., where they hit the bottom. Just little tick sounds there, nothing extravagant, but slightly more when you actually blow stuff up. And the game ending sequence when the player dies is actually quite cool. There's both a visual and an auditory aspect of it here. So I'll just play it a little bit at the end here. That's when you go up a level. So as you saw, the whole screen shakes when the player dies, and then it blows up all the blocks as you're going down. And of course, at that point, you're not getting points for doing this. But yeah, he's Paul should really turn this around really quickly, because I think he only started it a few weeks ago in December or something, and he's basically done the CoCo 3 version. The CoCo 1 and 2 version, I mean, graphically, obviously, it won't be as colorful. Should be fairly competitive with the Apple II Plus version, I would guess, because there is a version there as well. Sound-wise, depending on how he does it, he might be able to pull off some of the music stuff, because there's not as much graphics to move around the CoCo 1 and 2 screen. Like right now, he's doing, I think, a 160 by 192 16 color, which is like 24K or something like that for a screen. Where if he's doing artifact colors or PMO 3 graphics, and he's moving just 6K around. And you can use that trick of overflowing the IRQ for a horizontal sync, so that it takes just a cycle or two past what would trigger off the next one. So you can actually get about 49% for the game of CPU time and 51 to 52% for sound. He might be able to pull off some multi-voice stuff there, because I know Simon has done demos with that too. So I'm hoping he will be able to pull that off. But I haven't seen anything as far as screenshots or videos from Paul yet on the CoCo 1 and 2 version, but he did say he's going to be doing that in the Discord when he was posting about these. But it looks really good. I think it's actually a bit more visually impressive than the one that John Strong did. But John was, in all honesty, he was duplicating the original arcade one, which was also simpler. You didn't have this, pictures of atoms and stuff running here and molecules like we see here on the screen. So
I think Paul's
great.
I think Paul's a teacher, so he had the last 2 weeks off, so it's probably been cranking it up.
Yeah, well, he's been a machine the last few years here. Like he put out some stuff in the 90s and early 2000s, then kind of went away, and then he started learning like assembly language and stuff, and came back with a vengeance and just cranked out a whole bunch of really good casual games like the various Ghost Rushes and.
Yeah, he does a really good job of finding games that would convert over.
Yeah, like the camel game, which is based on the original text one, but he's got animated camels around me, Sands of Egypt type thing, and you still die way too easily in the game, just like you did with the original. But pretty impressive. I'd like to see him finish his Oregon Trail though, because he had gotten partly into that, and then he was trying to figure out some of the machine code on the Apple II version he was actually using as a base, and it was a little bit hard to figure out, and he kind of stopped it. But I think he's learned enough since then. I think he probably could tackle that again and finish it off. It'd be nice to have a full graphical Oregon Trail.
It's just a subset of the 6809.
Yeah, but there's certain things, like I hit this when I was working on the Petsky one, which someday I should probably get back to and finish that stupid thing. Like the condition code carry flags and stuff work differently between the two CPUs, and you have to remember that and change all the branch statements to
the opposite. Yeah.
That blew up for me and EJ quite a few times when we were working on it.
This might be a question for Paul when he, if he was to join us on the show when he's completed with this, though. But has he ever talked about what kind of environment he uses when he's programming?
I think he uses LWASM, honestly, within probably MAME or something as an emulator, I'm guessing. But I don't know for sure. I can't remember. I think he's talked about it before we had him on the show.
Yeah.
So, Paul, if you're listening to this, since the release is upcoming, if you want to come in and kind of give people some part of the both what the CoCo 1 and 2 version is going to look like, and then also maybe explain your kind of development environment. That would be pretty cool. Next after that, we had Jim Gary, who released an updated version of his MC10 port of the game called Switchbox, which was originally by Todd Highmark. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. From the March 1986 issue of Compute Magazine. He's updated the animations and done some minor speed code optimizations. And this is basically dropping balls, which are the asterisks here. And you get to flip these little things here to try to steer them to go down. It reminds me a little bit of Roller Controller by Spectral, which was, I think, the very first third-party game that CoCo 3 ever saw. And that's because Spectral had early prototype CoCo 3s months ahead of the release, as we found out when we found the Spectral Associates hard drive. So it's an interesting little game, and it definitely plays a little bit faster, or better than the original version. I did compare it. But you can see you can flip and rotate these around to steer where the ball is going to go. And I'm assuming, I think you have to try to get it so it's open all the way to the bottom. Like if you hit here, it would just kind of get stuck and trapped there. Right, if you've had this one previously for your MC10, you can definitely go get the new one from Jim's site.
I like the bit about how you have to flip and rotate those things. Kind of like enjoy it.
Yeah, there's a few games like that. Like Roller Controller is more, I think it was color coded openings that you could like open these little trap doors to let it go through. And then you have these little blowers in the bottom that can blow it back up. If you screwed up, you could try to steer it to a blower and get a second chance at it. But then you got multiple pieces you're trying to do at once, which gets complicated. Next up, we have YouTube channel Elimist, which is famous for doing speed runs of various games. And he's been doing a lot of adventure games on the CoCo lately, and he quite likes these. He did 2 this week. The first one here is a game called 666 The Haunted House. It's a graphical adventure with graphical text generators and stuff, and some pretty decent graphic animations and stuff too. This is a game that actually originally got released in 1987. I think if I remember correctly, this was a freeware release on CompuServe and Delphi for the CoCo 1 and 2, but it was actually modified to a version 2.01 in March 2003. So this has been pretty recently worked on in CoCo terms. You even see some thank yous here for Robert Galt, Bob Emery. You were involved with this. Do you remember this? And Art Flexer, of course, the author of ADOS.
I do not.
Yeah, he gave you special thanks anyway.
Welcome to your old age with the rest of us.
And he mentions here all others from BitLister of CoCo, which I think we learned this last week or two that Dennis Kitts has passed it off to somebody else, and it's going to carry on, which is awesome. Though he is giving a complete archive of everything that's ever been talked about on the BitLister that you can go through as well. But yeah, this is kind of the credit screen, kind of gives a little bit of background on the game, which I won't bother playing. You can actually go watch the video, but I want to show a little bit of the gameplay itself.
666, the haunted house.
You see those little text generators running in the background here with the cursor. But it actually has like the objects you pick up are actually on the screen, and fairly fast drawing too. Of course, he's speed running it, so he's doing everything, just trying to get where he is. But there's some cool effects and stuff too.
Yeah, but that's reasonably snappy for adventure game.
Yeah. And of course, using the artifact colors give you some variety. A lot of these types of games used to use the black and white mode.
I like the hallway around the doors. That's new.
I like that. I don't know if you guys saw that little effect here that's doors doing. It's called the ectoplasma transport room. It looks like a really cool effect. That actually works on get put buffers if you try to run them off the side of the screen. And all of a sudden it'll squish and scrunch the thing because it tries to wrap around within the get put box. Though it shouldn't. It should probably just trim it. And it makes for cool effects. I've seen it actually used in some basic games in Rainbow and stuff where they use that effect to do this weird. Just wanted to point that out because it's a cool little basic trick that's not really documented.
Nice.
The other one he covered this week was called Zector Adventure, and he nails this sucker, including his intro here in like less than 3.5 minutes. So obviously went through it quick, but it's a text adventure, pure text. And this one here is actually based on Star Wars, and I think as he describes it, it's pretty well exactly like what Star Wars. It follows Star Wars quite to a T. I won't bother playing that one. You can go check that one out yourself, but. Yeah, I'd never thought of speed runs for adventure games till you started doing it. Actually, that kind of makes sense because, most times you have little shortcuts. You only need to type 3 or 4 characters of a word, and you have to kind of time it with the parser because it won't usually do type ahead. So to do these as fast as you can without overclocking or anything is a challenge. So kind of liking the idea. Next after that, YouTube channel Squee PTY with 10 subscribers, a brand new. Now, he talks about this being Dragon 64 computer time banded going on MAME for Android using a Retroid Flip 2, which I assume is some little game style box running Android. Are you familiar with the Retroid Flip 2? Now, the disappointing thing for me here is he actually shows bringing up menus to, select tapes and stuff and do some stuff with the interface for MAME under Android. And then shows the whole game loading, including the microdeal opening screen and stuff, and then selecting the color set when you get the game. But he doesn't actually play the game.
Right.
So that was just a little silly. But you can see, it even brings up a virtual keyboard so you can type.
Ultimate teaser.
Yeah. And the old loading screen here where you're now, this is one that's doing uncompressed, so it's basically loading a raw 6K screen at 1500 baud. Some of the later Dragon games are smart enough to use hourly compression and kind of override the just straight load M command you'd normally use and display these things much faster. Still, it's the same speed as a C64 disk drive with a fast play card.
Yeah, and then he stops at Cuthbert. It doesn't.
Yeah. Well, basically, this is the loading screen, and then the actual load of the game itself happens. And then you get to menu which keyboard or which color you want. Of course, you have to go back to the keyboard so you can type in one character. And then you get to see it in the one character set that he picked. Obviously, this was designed for CoCo 1 and 2 artifact colors. For those of you who played Time Bandit. And then he doesn't play the game. So that was a little bit disappointing. Hopefully he follows up and does that later. Because it's one of the great games on the CoCo 1 and 2, especially at the time period it came out. And was, of course, based on the original Computer Shack one the year before from the tier setting model 1 and 3. And the last one I've got here for the gaming stuff here was a question posted by Jim Mulls. You may remember his name as he's the one working on Superpowers, which is based on DC Comics characters, which he originally started using Sundog's Graph Express 2.0 to program, which was running at a pretty decent speed, but he's running out of memory. And I mean, that's something that Paul Thayer hit when he was using it too. It generally takes a fair bit of memory for the engine. So your basic programs tend to be pretty small. or smaller. You can do some tricks like preloading graphics and then running a different program to actually run it. But he's been actually gradually converting stuff over as he's learning assembly language to speed things up. And it sounds like he's making pretty good progress on it, but it's definitely slower developing in straight assembly than using, Graphic Express's own internal language. But he was asking here as a general post on Facebook in the CoCo group, what is the best fighting game for the CoCo? There's a bunch that have been mentioned, like Karate by Diecom, WrestleManiac by Diecom, Kyum-Gai to be Ninja by Sundog, Kung Fu Dude by Sundog. There's probably some others. I know there's some boxing games and stuff that were published, like the Diecom had Knockout clone called, a Punch-Out clone called Knockout. And there's a few others that were done by other companies. There's also even a few type-in ones. I was just wondering on the panel here, for those that are the game players in whichever games you played, is there a favorite fighting game you guys have seen? My personal favorite would be Kyum-Gai to be Ninja as well. Although the earlier Warrior King isn't too bad. It's a bit too pixel perfect, trying to do jumps and stuff, and you tend to die a lot. So I prefer Kyum-Gai. Plus it runs under Nitrous 9.
I'd say the best fighting game for the CoCo is discussing the best fighting game for the CoCo. Because we could go with that for some time. Although I do like Kyum-Gai. And it runs under OS9, like someone just said.
Yep. In fact, if you run it under 639 OS9, it runs smoother and faster than the original one does.
How about Neutroid?
Cool, actually.
No, that just causes fights. That's not a fighting game.
That's the subtopic we're on here.
I did like Sean Wheeler actually had a good point. Dino Wars. That actually is a two-player fighting game.
Yeah, it's more
3D
complicated.
scaling and all kinds of stuff, like and digitized roars, and yeah, that's actually, especially considering that was a 1980-81, almost a launch title. It was a little bit late, so it didn't quite make launch. But
what was the one we played recently where I actually did pretty good? I was able to leap over my opponent and get him from the backside.
Ken, do you remember?
Which Kung Fu game did we do recently?
I know we did Kyum-Gai some months ago, but I think you're talking probably more recent than that.
Well, a Kung Fu fighter game. We're all too old to remember.
Yeah, it's been in the last 2 or 3 months.
I know there's one that the Amigos recently covered, which was East-West Karate or something like that. It was
no,
it was commercial, but it was written in BASIC with just some very sparse ML routines. It was based on the karate game, Karate Champ from the arcade, but it had actually more varied backgrounds and stuff than even the original. Maybe that's the one. I think you could jump over people in that.
Ken posts like the last year or so of games we've played pretty regularly on the game so far.
We'll look it up and put it in the show notes just because we're all concerned now. It really happened.
Kevin Holloway says, does Predator count?
Karate. It's just called Karate.
Karate.
Okay, yeah, that's the Diecom one. That was the one that actually has some hidden code in it that Dave Dyes was originally planning on having modem play, which would have been cool.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's something somebody should finish, actually. Maybe with one of the RS-232 packs or something that's available to make it a bit easier.
Exactly.
Because that was, I think, the biggest problem.
Like the burden.
Yeah, when you have to read one bit at a time and do the baud rate timing yourself in software, it's a pain.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that P51 worked as good as it did is pretty impressive. But does Predator count? I don't know if I quite call it a fighting game. It's more of a platform. Fighting.
Not really
it's got a bit of
game,
fighting, I guess.
I guess it's a game.
It doesn't have the combos of different moves and stuff, though, I guess.
No, it's just your side
So
scrolling.
Last Ninja didn't come up as the best fighting game for CoCo.
Don't be playing some in the background there in a fighting game, or
I don't know.
I heard something. It wasn't me.
Yeah, no, that was my bad. I bumped something. So,
okay. But I like this one though, because Paul Allen Still and a few others commented on Robot Battle, which is a programming where you program the robots.
Oh, right.
Written by Glenn Soggy for image producers. And there's version of what's the Apple II one that's famous for doing the same thing? Mark, came out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was Muse Software, that the same people who did Castle Wolfenstein, which became Wolfenstein 3D, which became pretty much all the first shooters we've seen for a long time. Trying to remember, Robot War, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But they did the same thing too, where you basically you do a bunch of little programming sequences with a basic custom small language, and then you just set the two robots fighting each other and see which program wins.
Yeah, each programmer submits a little script, and then it plays out.
Yeah,
Right.
and they do stuff like you can move, you can scan, you can fire, and I think in Robot Battle in particular, there's 2 different kinds of firing. You have a laser plus a missile. Laser's faster to travel, but it doesn't go as far. So
About
there's a bunch
Robot
of things
Odyssey?
there.
That's called Robot
Yeah.
War. There's the Apple II one. Came out in like 80 or 81.
Yeah, and this one, I think Robot Battle was programmed in 81, but I don't think Tandy sold it till 82, I think. There was a few games that they had. Sometimes they'd wait a year and a half to do it because they wanted slight tweaks. And
It's funny, the Wikipedia article says Robot War. It says Silas Warner, who's the guy that started Muse Software. It says Apple II and Plato, because actually Silas Warner went to, I think it was the University of Indiana, where they had a Plato terminal.
Oh.
And so he had experience about those type of games that were done.
Yeah, and Plato was like really high res. Like that was a really decent system for the time. Way ahead of its time, actually.
Yeah.
But looking at some of the comment suggestions of Karate 1985, that's the Diecom one. Color Robot Battle, another one. They even mentioned they had a mini tournament 2024, so just a year and a half ago or whatever. Derek Snyder asked, was there Matt Mania? WrestleManiac by Diecom is the clone that he's referring to. Kyum-Gai is, of course, mentioned. Ed Tasm Plus when you were just having one of those days. I like that answer.
Sprite Switch all assembly programming.
Here's a recent one. Erico did Savage Sword of CoCo, so kind of a spoof on Conan. And that's a low-res semi-graphics 4 version with a bit of fighting and jumping and stuff too. So that's actually a good one. It's just released last year. Rampage. Is that a fighting one? It's more of like wrecked buildings one with a bit of fighting thrown in. To me, that's stretching the definition. You're fighting each other, and I guess you're trying to eat, soldiers and stuff, and don't eat fireworks and things.
It's more like one on many than one on one, but yeah. Actually,
I guess it
play
could be a
Rampage
little
in
bit.
3-player at VCF West in 2019. We set up Rampage and played 3 players. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. Sean Wheeler has a mention of Dino Wars as well, but he also said there was also a one-on-one fighting game called Night of the Ninja from one of the T&D discs. I have not gotten that far in T&D and seen that one. I'm kind of curious about that one myself, because they did have some decent machine language games in T&D. Usually at least one an issue, and they ran for 90 or 100 and some odd issues. So
Maybe we should have later on challenge turn. Check that out.
Yeah, and those ones, because they're machine language, I will be putting those on my website. That's one of my exceptions. Like basically in my first run, until I get all the games caught up, anything that was machine language, even if it was published in a magazine, like if you want to do something like Zonks from Rainbow, or what's the Frogger clone from Hot Cocoa, Croaker, and some of those, I will be putting those on the site. And eventually I might go back and do some of the better basic games, but I mean, some of the basic games are pretty lame. So no offense to the authors, but let's see what other ones are mentioned here, because I haven't actually checked this. Like Strip Poker, The Ultimate Battle. No, I don't think I'd count that. And then Karen Miles suggests The Ancient Art of War. I don't remember that game on the CoCo. Is anybody familiar with that one? Like, it sounds like it might be an Arca Royal game, but I don't remember that particular one. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting, battle as to see what Warrior King's one I would mention, but isn't really in here. But it's more loose. I mean, to be Ninja and Karate and some of the other ones, you have multiple moves you can do. Like you hold the joystick in a certain position, then you hit the button or whatever. You can do like a flying kick and a jump over the player. I think that's more what they mean by fighting games, that we have these multiple moves, like like the Mortal Kombats and stuff have all these complex moves you could do. And we didn't have a ton of those on the CoCo. We probably had about half a dozen, I think, would qualify for that between the CoCo 1, 2, and 3. And the Dragon had a few too. They had a few, like Shaolin Master is a pretty decent one on the Dragon, I remember. And probably Karen remembers a few others. I think there was a couple there that we didn't see in North America at the time. Anyway, just food for thought. I thought it was kind of interesting. Anyway, that's it for the Game On news. So I will switch over into the regular news, and then last but not least, we will get into upcoming shows. Okay, so okay, so I missed this last week. But the World of Dragon forums had a recent update to its uploads board, which is one of the several broad topic suggestions here. And this is a zip containing all of the programs from the CoCo and Dragon, or for the CoCo and Dragon, that came from a book called Hot Programs to Feed Your Dragon and Tandy Color Computer, originally published by Sigma Technical Press. And you can actually get the entire zip file here. Now it's 32.88 meg. So I'm assuming these are probably cassette WAV files or something to get that kind of a size. And Karen or anybody else who's actually tried these, let me know. And I've not seen that book recently, so I don't remember what exactly all is in there. I'm not sure if it's a mixture of games or if it's a mixture of utilities and games and all kinds of different things. But the entire book, from the sounds of it, has actually had all of the programs entered in and stored in the zip file. So if anyone wants to try these and report back to us next week, that'd be great. Next up after that, Julian Brown, he posted a couple times during the week about upgrades to his Dragon ATX Proto FPGA VDG, which is the one that goes into his ATX machine, which means there's multiple card slots and you put these different cards in for different graphics card, different sound card, different CPU, etc. And this is, I think, the latest of the ones updating the this particular card, because he covered it a few times, as I mentioned. He says, so much for checking the differential pairs needed for HDMI. That turned into a real bun fight. I'm not sure exactly what that means with the ID, but I got there in the end. It just took some iterative tweaking to identify the right combination of pin pairs that also work with the necessary routing. The last detail, and rather important, is the chip select mechanism for the video. Rather than rely on the existing mapping from the SAM, I'm using a dedicated GAL chip so that I can move the mapping without the need for a new board. It's also a lot simpler than wiring in all the address lines and device select lines into the FPGA. Each connection requires a level shifter, so while I have 4 address lines wired, this will require another 12 3 chips worth, plus 2 capacitors per chip. So this new design saves you a ton of space on the board, which is always a good thing.
I love hardware.
Next after that, John Whitworth of Dragon Plus Electronics has got a new, he's starting to redesign the SuperSprite FM Plus board because he was starting to get, I think, the same problem that a lot of projects, including the CoCoXT, have, where some of these chips are getting harder and harder to get. So now redesigns are required for them to be able to still be produced in the near and far future. So he mentions here that he's got the whole surface mount thing going on. He says next thing is level shifting ICs, Tang Nano 20K and A to D audio converter, then the HDMI switching, all coming along nicely once I pulled my finger out. Not quite sure what that means either. But basically, this is the SuperSprite FM Plus board, which has a sound chip and sprite chip and a whole bunch of things. We've actually seen there's versions of the AGD engine that Paris Rat's been doing conversions for. There's probably about 50, 60 games that actually support this board. And it gives you, basically MSX level graphics and sound. And pretty easy to program for, from what I understand. So, and the fact that the AGD engine supports it now that they've converted, 50 plus games for it means if you did get one of these, the new version or the original version, you actually have a pretty decent sized library that takes advantage of it, including music in the background, special sound effects, 16 colors on the screen at once, hardware sprites, all kinds of things. Next after that, it was announced this past week in the TRS-80 Discord, not to be confused with the CoCo Discord, but this is for all the TRS-80s, that the next live TRS-80 Trash Talk show will be streamed and recorded live January 17th. So next week, after our show at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we should be done our show by 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm hoping. So you should have some time even to eat before it hits. But of course, that covers everything. All of the Tandy 1000 to 4000s, the Model 1 through 16s, the CoCos, basically any computers that Tandy put out, Model 100s, 200s, Pocket computer line, all kinds of stuff. That's usually a fun time. I'm hoping actually maybe Paul Shoemaker will pop in there too to talk about his Quarks version that's coming up here fairly soon, we talked about earlier, which we'll be covering again, by the way, when we get into some of the other news here about the 8-bit guy, who is the original author of the original versions of this. But anyway, it's a fun show live. Sometimes they actually pay attention to the chat. Sometimes they don't. So just be forewarned.
If you have something you want to share, do you have to message them ahead of time, or can you just show up?
They used to have it so you had to privately ask for the thing, but now if you're on their Discord, you can just go to the TRS-80 Trash Talk Live channel, and it basically gives you the connection, Zoom details, and everything else. You can just pop right in.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't abuse it, or make sure people are, you're not giving it to people that will abuse it, because then they probably will have to take it private again, where you'll have to like get special permission. But Nick and I have been on numerous times, for example.
Well, I thought about sharing some of my unique items related to the CoCo that from
Yeah,
a historical
I'm
standpoint.
sure they would love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you already on their Discord?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay. Because I know the CoCo channel, there's actually been getting some hardware that somebody just bought a whole slew of stuff that included like magazines and software, and a CoCo with an HDL57 keyboard and a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know if they had anything you don't have yet, but might be worth taking a look at.
Okay.
Next up, the 8-Bit Guy. He did his 2026 State of the Channel, which he does pretty well every year. It's kind of just like where he's planning on going with the channel and some of the stuff that he's already well working into, so he knows what's coming up. The very first part of the video actually talks about the arcade, and he's actually got some live video footage and stuff of what the arcade actually looks like, and other people could come visit if they're in Texas. And then he started talking about Quarks, which is the game that we just showed from Paul Shoemaker. So I wanted to play two little clips from here. The first one is talking about the CoCo version even existing, and actually it's pretty up to date. I mean, he's using the one that actually has the music routines in it. So I'll play that little clip so you guys can see what he thinks about it so far.
Not really a change, but just FYI, I am currently working on a Tandy color computer documentary, which I've been planning to do for years. And it's about halfway done. I'm hoping to have it finished in about 2 weeks. These documentaries, as you know, often take 3 or 4 weeks to produce. That's why I only make like one video a month these days, because I'm typically doing these documentary style videos. Actually, the color computer has been an interesting one for me, because I had to learn a lot about it before I could make a video about it, because a lot of the things I thought I knew about it were wrong, because I never owned one and I've never really played with one much. So anyway, it's a pretty fascinating machine with a fascinating history, and I think you guys are going to like seeing that. Next topic, I want to talk about merchandise.
So yeah, he's actually playing a documentary, which should hopefully be out by the end of January. And he does pretty good deep dives in the other ones I've seen. He has covered the CoCo before doing repairs and stuff, and I don't think he was too impressed with the machine back then. I think he's seen, stuff like Quarks and stuff here that you can actually do some really cool things, especially with the CoCo 3. Also, I think he'd really like the CPU, because he's done a lot of assembly programming for his own games for the pet and stuff here. And I mean, this, 609 is a Cadillac of the 8-bit chips, so I'd be interesting to see his take on what that's like. But he did that, and then he later on talked about the Quarks port. Let me get the fast forward to that. Here we go.
And then there is another port. Surprise, surprise. It aligns perfectly in time with my CoCo documentary. We have a CoCo 3 version. I'll just show you the work in progress for that right now. It looks pretty similar to the C64 version. The music is obviously inferior due to the CoCo lacking a proper synthesizer chip, but yeah. So we are working on CoCo cartridges, so I'll actually have that for sale as a physical cartridge that you'll be able to buy for your CoCo. That's probably a month or two, maybe 3 months away before those will be shipping. They'll probably appear on the website in another few weeks for pre-order. So anyway, that's all I can really say about merchandising at the moment. Just like I said, this year there's going to be a whole lot of new stuff.
So I don't know if like Paul donated this, or if he's getting a cut of the sales or whatever here. Obviously, the cost of the real injection molded cartridges and stuff here will increase the cost of manufacture. But I'm glad he's doing this, because I don't think he's ever sold a CoCo game. I mean, EJ and I had kind of gotten pretty close to Petsky, but we'd hit a few problems with the way we had organized the RAM off the start. And it basically needs a complete reorganization to finish it. But I know he'd already created like 16 color alternative graphics for it, which look really, really good. So I would like to sometime, get back to that and actually finish it. But if we have to reorganize the whole darn code and how the memory map works and everything else. So, and I think the reason that it's going to take like 1 to 3 months, as he's mentioning here, is not just the manufacturing cartridges, but also because Paul has indicated that he is planning on doing a CoCo 1 and 2 version. And that'll require some pretty major changes from the way he's doing it now, as we talked about earlier. And I don't know if they're going to planning on making a fat binary where it has both versions on the same 32K card, because you can map them specially so that the CoCo 1 and 2 version shows up in the 16K that the CoCo 1 and 2 can see, and the CoCo 3 will actually get the extra 16K itself. So I'm not sure if that will all fit in one, or if it's going to require 2 separate cards, or if maybe the CoCo 1 and 2 version is going to be a different type of a download or a disc or something like that. I have no idea. So, Paul, if you're listening here, you should pop on the show and let us know what you think the plans are for this. But I'm really glad that he's actually doing this CoCo documentary too, because I'm curious to see what he's going to say about that. Next up, this was pointed out by Tony Capolini in the Discord in the news topic suggestions. And if you guys have any news topic suggestions that I might not find on YouTube or Facebook, but are done elsewhere that I might miss, or if you just find one I missed entirely, and you want me to cover it on the following show, you can send me an email at curtisboyle@sastel.net or put it in the Discord news topic suggestions like Tony did. So this is a podcast called The Stray Pointers. And they cover a lot of technical topics. And this particular one is season 3, episode 12. It's talking with Forth Systems creator Tom Zimmer. Now, Tom Zimmer had a history of doing Forth ports for a whole bunch of different 8-bit machines back in the day, 6502 based, 6809 based, etc. And he does mention during this video here that he actually did make the CoCo version of one of them, because we had a bunch of different Forths, Hoyt Stearns Electronics. There was a freebie one for OS9. There's a bunch of them. But basically, he talked about it a bit. One of the questions on there's a couple other sites that are kind of him blogging about some of his past, where he mentions, once you learn one assembly language for an 8-bit, it wasn't too hard to figure out the ones on other ones afterwards, which is why he was able to port it pretty quick after he did 6502 version. But he's actually the one who did one of the CoCo ports of Forth back in the day. Like, this is stuff back sold in the early 1980s. And of course, Forth is a very fast language. It does take a while to get used to, because you're basically building your own commands as you go. So you're using previously existing commands and then merging them together, adding some assembly code, and creating new commands as you go. And it uses Polish notation for almost everything. So if you're not used to that, that definitely is a bit of a mind bend. Get used to that. But yeah, pretty good. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, luckily we don't have Mr. Gebhardt to elucidate on this. Otherwise, we could go on and run the show on until dark on Forth, because he's done quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, do we have 409 on the current OU? I think we do. I don't think I have an icon for it, because it's meant as a command line thing, but I'm pretty sure there is a version of them there. I think it's for level 1, so I don't think you'll be able to use like Code 3 graphics. But Forth was very famous for being very fast, because it works a bit closer to the CPU level than even something like C in some cases.
Sadly, under level 1, you couldn't throw a whole lot of your own library on there, which is disappointing.
Yeah, it depended on which version. Like, I know our club had the Hoyt Stearns Electronics version, which is not the one he did. And it was pretty quick, because I actually did see some games that some of our programmers at the club did, and they were pretty close to assembly language speed.
Right.
I mean,
but as far as throwing up your own dictionaries, you can't beat level 2.
No. Level 2 is like a whole level.
Of stuff,
it's a whole level above level 1. Yeah.
Well, it's like trying to write something in BASIC in level 1. You ain't going far, and when you do the same thing in level 2, well, hey, now I've got 64K just for me, and the OS can do whatever.
And you got Windows and all kinds of fancier graphics.
I could see Forth having that same problem, because you want to load your own dictionary, but if you only got 64K, where do you put the dang dictionary? Of your Forth commands. Well, in level 2.
Yeah, you pretty well have to make a pick and choosy one. You'd have to have it, run with, just the commands your particular program needs.
Your one program needs, and then if you're a Forth master, I'm sure you can do that. But as a lazy programmer, I would want just to have my dictionary.
And I do know the original Basic 9 by Microware, they did have the option. The CoCo never got this, but they did have the option of RunB, like skipping all floated point calculations. If you want just the integer version, then it shrank down to less than 8K.
Oh, nice.
And then a few other things where they skipped doing certain parts of the compiler.
You don't need the math. You can do your language. And
yeah, you could save a lot of room and write bigger programs.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting, because Forth was kind of designed for being really fast. That's why the Jupiter Ace, a European-based machine, actually, Forth was the built-in interpreter. It didn't have BASIC.
Well, that's why I know about the language thing, because that thing didn't have any RAM, and you didn't really have any storage, and so yeah,
no, and it wasn't a very popular machine either. The graphics on it were, I think, text character based.
Well, it was like a ZX81 except Forth.
Yeah, with a slightly better keyboard.
And yeah, it was interesting. If you really wanted to learn it, it's a good teaching tool.
Yeah, it's too bad they didn't pick like a more physically like hardware capable machine to do that on, because that could have went on
This is
ticking
the
off.
80.
Yeah, but the graphics and the sound, I think, were what killed it.
Well, there
It
was
like
nothing.
very
Yeah,
low end.
it was the CPU was making up the display and everything else. So
Like I'm
there
trying to
was
remember, did he
nothing-
even have color? I think it was just a black and white machine
No,
too,
it
wasn't
was-
it? I might be wrong on that one.
Essentially, the engineers had worked for Sinclair. So, I mean, it was basically a ZX81 clone with a 4th bit ROM
Interpreter built
instead
in
of
for the
basic.
ROM.
Yeah.
Right, and you
Yes.
could write your own. You could write your own library, but you had to save it to cassette tape. So it was
Yep.
really important that you know exactly what you were writing and why.
Yeah, and you couldn't really write great games on it, because I remember some of the games that were written on it actually don't look that good because it's just a text character-based system. There's no real graphics, no sound.
It was to teach you
Or very
computing,
minimal.
just like the ZX81. It wasn't
Yeah.
an end all. It was to teach you computing.
It had a
And
chiclet
it worked
keyboard, I
for
think,
that.
worse than ours, didn't it?
It
Yeah.
I
I recall.
I think it was the rubbery ones that get stuck real easy and stuff. So.
yeah, the dead flesh keyboard as they called it. 'Cause it was like
Yeah. Hey, right, getting back to the video here, or audio, I guess,
CoCo's,
technically.
yeah, I remember those.
If you're on the CoCo Discord, go to the news topic suggestions. He actually posted several other links. I'm just showing you the main interview, but he's got some blogs he's done on his own where he talks about some of this stuff as well. More in general fourth type things, like for 8 and 16-bit machines, but he does touch on the CoCo and the 1609 a couple times, even in some of those articles as well. And his version of fourth is not one I think I've actually fiddled with. I mean, I haven't done too much with fourth at all, to be honest. Has anybody here actually used fourth fairly actively at some point?
Just dabbled with a teeny bit. enough
Right,
to-
just to play. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, bye.
Yeah. I do remember Dwayne Downing here at the local club bought and purchased it, and then he actually used it a fair bit, and it had a SemiGraphics 12 editor built in where you had an underline cursor based on that, and it actually ran pretty good for a tape-based system, and it was pretty quick, but I just never could wrap my head around the Polish notation well enough to. I
Yeah.
kept forgetting you have to go 3,
2, 4.
5, 2 plus. Ah, damn it.
You need your Hewlett Packard calculator to get your
Yeah.
brain around.
Wasn't it HP calculators that actually use Polish notation?
Yeah, they
for this
were
stuff
all
too?
Polish
one did.
notation, and they
There were
did
some
the
that
good
weren't.
scientific stuff before the TIs could, the other guys. So you had to learn reverse Polish so your scientific calculator, because
Yeah.
they had the good one, and then finally, like TI, etc., caught up with the scientific calculators with regular notation. But I remember for a minute in high school where you had to know RPN or die.
Did they start at 1?
Well, you gave number operation instead of
Yeah, if you wanted to add 3 plus 2, you'd go 3 space 2 space plus.
Or
And
3
this is
enter 2
fourth,
plus.
right? In fourth?
Fourth is
Well, no,
similar.
this was just the way you did all of your ordering in several different places. The HP calculators, fourth. There was a couple of things that did RPN. It was evil. It was always evil, no matter where you met it.
Anyway, yeah, pretty good, interesting interview, especially if you're interested in fourth in general, because he did a lot of fourth interpreters and compilers for a lot of 8-bit machines. Next up, the TRS-80 Retroprograming, who we're hoping to have on the show today. What happened? Did you figure what happened there, Mark? Or
No, I don't know. He just dropped off, so I don't know where he went. So,
did he make it to the Discord at least, or?
yeah, he did make it onto the Discord.
Okay, so maybe we can set up for the future here. So anyway, this is kind of a little side project he's been working on, and he's basically got it pretty close to playing this little target practice thing. And he's going to go back and finish some of the other games that he's got going. And I've been supposed to helping him test these, and I just haven't had time. It's my apologies. I think we'll have to get some other beta testers for him to help him out on that. Tales of Suburbia, for example. But he's added in this thing where he's got a little bit of a title background. He's kind of got a bit of a 3D look. Where you have to move back and forth and jump, and you have to shoot them. The timing has to be like the arrow jumps so many pixels at a time, and it looks like the arrowhead has to end up right in the blue square for it to actually hit. Otherwise, it just goes zooming past. And then later on, once you do hit it, it like jumps up, and now you have to be able to shoot it while you're jumping and also line up horizontally too. So he's probably going to release this little bit once he's completely cleaned it up here as a little demo. It's kind of the training mode. You can actually interact with it and then go back and finish some of the other projects and then come back to it. He's still waiting for a nice high-res scan of the CoCo 3 graphics screen, though. So if anybody's got the CoCo 3 320 by 192 pixel grid paper that they can scan in high res, so it's not all, blurred out. Like, don't save in JPEG, save it in PNG or something that doesn't, get lossy, and then upload it to the archive. Then he can get a copy of it and actually get back to some of the CoCo 3 stuff, because he looked pretty intrigued with some of that. But he does all of his graphics design for drawing characters and stuff like this, like you see on the screen here now. It's based on drawing it out on this graph paper, and if say he doesn't have that, he's kind of stuck. He doesn't have any of the old Graphic 3 or CoCo 3 editors and stuff like Color Max or Color Max Deluxe and CoCo Max 3, etc. Anyway, I'll just play a little bit of the actual play here.
An area over here. If you're not a perfect shot or whatever, now I can't hit this at all. Right on top of it, and it's gone. Let's try here. Let's see if I hit my mark now. If I do, you'll hear that sound, and now the target has moved up towards the ceiling. So I'm going to move closer. I'm just going to jump a little closer here, and then I'm going to do jump and shoot, which you hold the button down and you press up. Now I hit it. So all of a sudden there's this thing at my feet here, and I have to change the color of it because it's hard to see, but it's pushing me back. And so I need to...
So it looks like a pretty interesting training mode where you have to kind of like line up your shots, both horizontally so it actually hits the center of the target, and also vertically if you have to jump up or shoot from the ground level. And then once you do a couple of those, then all of a sudden this ball thing, and you have to like jump over and stuff. So that's the part he's working on now. But nice little training. And I do like his graphics. I mean, for P Mode 1, which is this is, and even the pastel character set actually doesn't look too bad. I like the fact that he blogs all of these too. And like we've been trying to get him on the show for a while. It sounds like he's actually getting pretty close to getting it done from what Marco was saying here. So hopefully we can actually get him on the show here. And I do want him to get actively involved in the Discord, because there's quite a few basic programs. We've got several basic channels. I think he would have a lot of fun in, and asking questions and stuff, and especially when it gets to the CoCo 3 stuff. Next up, we have a update from Ron Klein for the Cocoa Pie blog, which is, I think, the first update he's done in probably quite a while. And this is an update here from January the 4th, and he says, once again, I've been neglecting the use of this website for project news statuses. Most activity happens within Discord these days, but I really feel a website is still the best place to keep everyone updated, so I plan on doing a better job. Cocoa Pie project is very much alive, and I've been keeping up with the development during my free time. You can track that progress here, and he gives you a direct link to the GitHub. So some of the changes that are happening, he mentions that he's moving to the latest version of Debian, 13 Trixie. While this GitHub repository is for my Cocoa Pie installer, it's what I used to build the SD card release image that regular users of the Cocoa Pie project have come to know over the years. So he's doing both versions. We talked about this, I think, last year. I'm very close to that release. Should be by the end of the month. So another thing to get released by the end of January. There's quite a few news things that will be included in the latest Cocoa Pie release in no particular order, and certainly not a complete list. Would contain, first of all, the latest version of all the various emulators from MAME, XWOR, TRS-80 GP, OVCC. Latest development tool applications, Basic to 6 and 9, the compiler by Glenn Hewlett, Microgames Basic by Marco Spedaletti, and other usual suspects like LW Tools, etc., Toolshed, etc., from like William Mastel and others. Storage options galore, Pi DriveWire, Legacy Java DriveWire, FujiNet PC, so it's supporting FujiNet directly now, TNFS server, etc. And for those of you not using Raspberry Pi, you can enjoy the benefits and features of the Cocoa Pie project and most anything that can be run in Debian 13. This can include a wide variety of SPCs, laptops, WSL under Windows 11, the list goes on. And then, of course, he wishes a Happy New Year to everybody. So how many people on the panel here have actually been actively doing Cocoa Pie? Have you guys been keeping up with some of the stuff that's been not blogged recently?
No. I use mine all the time. I play with it.
Okay. Have you been getting the updates as they come in? Like, I think he kind of has an auto update. I don't need any.
I'm happy. Everything works. Every once in a while I have to put some of my new pictures and different things I run across on the chip inside the
SD card.
Yeah, that's it. Fun.
Okay.
Why break a good thing?
Cool.
Anybody
So anyway,
else?
yeah, Ron, if you're listening to this here, if you want to pop in and we covered it in a bit more detail, feel free to come on the show. You've been on before, so. Next after that, we've got Downland Unearthed, the next entry in that blog, which is a series that a person is actually converting Downland from the original machine language 609 code for the CoCo 1 and 2 to a C program for more modern machines. And because he's been disassembling it, figure how it works, he has these little blogs on how the various parts of Downland works internally. And the latest episode here is called Boulder, Ball, Bat, Bird. And basically that's because it's covering the boulder and the bat. I think that's what the manual calls them. But boulder behaves like a ball. Like a boulder doesn't usually squish when it hits the ground, like a rubber ball does, which happens in Downland. And whether it's a bat or a bird, I think is definitely open to conjecture.
It's a space game, damn it.
Yeah.
Like a space game cell.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they told Rick Adams.
It's colorful.
Yeah. So anyway, as he mentions here, the main antagonist in Downland is actually the acid drops, and then the balls on certain screens, including the first one that you're seeing here. And the bat comes out if you take too long in a screen, and it'll come whizzing around in a fixed pattern and try to clip you. But he goes into exactly how these work, how the animation frames work, how the ball gets determined when it's coming out, etc., how fast it moves, etc. Into quite a bit of detail, but he actually mentioned something that's actually quite interesting. Let's see if I can get here. Yeah, the most fascinating thing about the table above, and this is rooms that have a bouncing ball on it. There are 10 screens, 0 to 9, 10 chambers in Downland. There's some extra numbers here, 10 to 14, for example. Now, the game will wrap around. It doesn't finish after the 10, but it wraps back to 0 and just speeds things up, basically, and makes it harder. The acid drops start moving closer to the ropes, so you have to, hang yourself on the side to dodge them. And I do remember when I did a very brief text email interview with Michael Eichmeyer, the person that wrote Downland, that he had mentioned he spent the last month or two trying to cut the game down from over 9K to fit in an 8K ROM cartridge because that was Tandy's stipulation. And he had expanded stuff that he was doing when you completed the game, ran through all the chambers. And he didn't explicitly say, but it is possible that kind of like Daggerath did, he probably had more in there and then he had to make it fit in 8K. So he might have planned, chambers 10 to 15 or 10 to 14, and they had to pull them out because it wouldn't fit in an 8K ROM. Now, the CoCo 1 and 2 could handle 16K ROM, but Tandy definitely didn't sell too many games like that. Because especially in the early 80s, that was pretty expensive jump on the chip price there. So this might be a remnant left over from that he had planned on doing this. And because he had to crunch it down from over 9K to 8K right before it got accepted by Tandy, maybe he actually had some of that done and just had to yank it all out because it was out of space. I know Daggerath went through the exact same thing. There was supposed to be more there as well. So it's kind of interesting that a little bit of code still in the referencing an extra 5 levels.
I guess in their defense, I bought this game as a younger because it was in the lower tier of game prices. It was what I could buy that week.
Yeah. And there's 2 versions of it. There's a 1.0, the original cartridge, and there's a 1.1, and the label's quite different between the two.
Right. Right.
The 1.1 was the one that was patched around the CoCo 3 because if you put it into a CoCo 3 with the original version, it just crashes. You can't even play it.
And I believe basically it was full uppercase versus mixed case for the title. You could tell pretty quickly if it has mixed case, it runs on anything.
Yeah. The label itself, it has the logo for the artwork of Downland shrunk down with a white background and some actual black text on there. And the original one is just the graphic.
Right. And I thought I could be wrong.
Anyway, it's one of those classic games. It's one of the ones that I would consider one of the killer apps on the CoCo as far as games go. I put Daggerath up there as well, where it's unique to the platform, at least at the time, and a very standout game. Next up after that, David Craker has been going through the assembly language book by Don and Kurt Inman. This is one I actually went through myself back in the day. And to be honest, out of all the assembly language books like the Bardens, the Leventhal's, etc., this is the one I understood the easiest. And it went straight into graphics and sound. And that's actually reflected in the title. because the original title of the book is Assembly Language Graphics for the TRS-80 Color Computer. And if you recognize the name Don Inman, he was one of the main columnists for Rainbow as well, especially in the early years. So he actually covered machine language as a regular columnist. And this one here is just one of the sample programs in the book. Eventually, you actually make a Space Invaders game. Once you get through the book, it actually, if you go through the whole thing, you'll actually have a little Space Invaders game in assembly language. And it teaches
like
you
yellow and blue cover. The cover's like yellow and blue.
it's got yellow, blue, and green, I think, stripes or something like that. Or curved stripes.
Yeah, I think I have that actually printed. Dead paper version.
Unfortunately, it was written early enough. I don't think EdTASM was out when they wrote it. So he's using like the MicroWorks assembler, which, once EdTASM came out, kind of became the de facto standard, and you had to change a few things to even get it to run, which is why I don't think it was sold too much afterwards.
Availability, EdTASM was so much easier to obtain.
Yeah. But it was concentrating on the graphics and the sound. So it was something and joysticks and stuff like that. So it was definitely a CoCo emphasis one, whereas a lot of the other ones are more generic. Like Leventhal is definitely just 6809. Barden's did some generic 609 chapters, then did some stuff specific to the CoCo, but this one was designed for the CoCo right off the start. Like everything you're doing on it's CoCo based. Anyway, I'll show you the code here. It's got it here. He cross compiles it and runs it in MAME. I'll get up to where he's loading it. And it's a very simple thing, but I mean, it's one of the early sample programs here, and you get this animated little piston. All in assembly, though. That's the main thing. Okay, and after that, we'll switch over to upcoming shows. First one up is Mark O's baby.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And sorry, I haven't got back to everybody about getting you slots scheduled. Probably your CoCo 4 thing will probably be the most complex with most number of people. So you should probably get the preference of time slots. So tell me when you want to present.
Yeah. Brian Weezer and I are going to have to come up with Rick and everybody else about the CoCo 4 stuff, because that's probably going to be a longer show.
Exactly.
I still have to get my TC9 and see if it's still up and running. I might just have to show the hardware, depending. Hasn't ran in a while.
Pick a 2-hour block so I can get everybody else scheduled.
Okay, Brian and Rick, you're both on the panel here. So is there any preferred time for you guys?
Not really. I mean, I'm pretty open.
On Saturday the 24th, we're just dancing around this regular show. So probably right after this one, if we put a 3-hour cap like we did last year, and start right after.
Okay. I know there's a few others we had a contact too that we want to try to get on that show too. Like Joel Evie's got an M1 he wants to show off, for example.
Yeah, he contacted me separately for, I guess, another presentation. So that's fine. Get them scheduled. We need to draw some lines in the dirt, or put some ink on the board or something.
Yeah. So that's like you said, 2 short weeks. So
2 weeks.
Next up after that, January 24th to 26th, VCF Montreal 2026, which actually has some CoCo presenters. There's at least 5 CoCo people I know are going now, from what I've seen in the CoCo Discord. So, yeah, there's going to be a pretty good CoCo turnout here. And Henry Reitfeld, who's got a table, he's going to be showing off a Naboo and something else, I think. But he's also a CoCo guy, and he said if any of the CoCo guys want to bring stuff to show off, he's got some extra room at his table. Feel free to join him if you don't want to pay for the table yourself. He'll let you show off some stuff. And Sockmaster is one of the people planning on attending. So if you want to meet one of the legends of the CoCo programming era, and the master of CoCo demos, and also optimizing and bejesus out of everything, and the mod player. There's so many things he's done. Definitely, that would be very interesting to meet him out there. Next after that is the Indy Classic. And this is one that's co-run by a few people, but one of the main people there is the man behind the Floppy Days podcast, as well as I think it's called Antic, his Atari 8-bit one. And we've mentioned some of the stuff he's covered on the Floppy Days podcast numerous times when it involves CoCo stuff. And March 21st, 22nd, and a new location, the Wyndham Indianapolis Airport Hotel in Indianapolis, Indiana. And that actually means if you're flying into Indianapolis, and it's if you're in Chicago area, it's actually not that far of a drive. I think it's 4.5 hours or something like that, maybe 5. But it's actually right at the airport hotel, so you don't have to even go that far from when you land. So you probably don't even need much of a taxi. And there's a good coverage of a lot of old machines here. Next up to that, of course, is the Big Kahuna, and I don't have to say too much about this one today because Grant was on actually giving us an update about it, but that, of course, is CoCoFEST, April 24th and 25th. Less than 104 days away now. It's 103 and, what is that, 2/3 roughly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
16 hours.
So Grant kind of gave us an update, so I won't repeat any of that. If you need to find out some details, you can go to www.glensideccc.com. As he mentioned, tables and stuff will be going on February, what did he say? February
15th at 3 p.m. Central Time.
The exact middle of the month, which is exactly 4 weeks long.
Yep. And then also to mention that you have to prepay several weeks ahead so we don't have the problem like we did last year where people booked a table, didn't show up, didn't pay, and then somebody could have used it and didn't.
That's fair.
After that, or actually the same weekend as that, is VCF LATAM 2026, which is the very first Latin American official VCF. That takes place in Bahia Blanca, Argentina. I still don't have a clue if I'm pronouncing that right. But if you're down in the Argentina way or want to take a holiday, you can definitely check that one out. It'll be covering all the old machines, of course, 8 and 16-bit, and probably even some 32-bit stuff. And of course, Rick and I still like the 8M38 terminal sitting here.
Oh, hell yeah.
And next after that is another one Mark is familiar with because it has returned after a 5-year break, basically.
6 years.
VCF Pacific Northwest.
And
there was a CoCoFEST Pacific Northwest in the 90s too, so maybe some of those guys can show up.
Right.
Be nice. I saw on the mailing list. I haven't seen any notifications yet. So.
Yeah, well, it's still a fair bit out yet. It's almost 5 months away.
Yeah.
Are you planning on going this as an exhibitor, Mark, or just attending?
Yeah. No, I'm planning on going as an exhibitor. It's only 3.5 hour drive for me. So it's the easiest one for me to get to. No flying.
Yep. You need to drag a few other people like Tim Linder up there too?
Hopefully. And I'll rattle the cage of everybody that lives between me and there. So Tim Linder's one. There's a couple other people too.
I'll just stop by everyone on the way.
Yeah, just pick them all up. Just rent a van, just throw them all in.
I already have a minivan.
Oh, well, there you go. You might need a trailer on the back. Maybe a U-Haul can throw them in like cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to remember how many other active CoCo people are in your area within, let's say, a 4 or 5 hour radius.
Well, active, that's a good question. There is that TRS-80 CoCo map that we don't bring up very often that has a bunch of people on it. And I know there's a few more people in the Seattle area, and there seemed a couple in the Portland, Oregon area where Tim Linder is. So, but I don't think
like Glenn Soggy moved back to Oregon. He was living in Chicago for years and years and years when he worked at Image Bridge and stayed there. And he's actually moved back because that's where he's originally from.
Oh, okay. I'll have to touch base with him. I know that there's a couple Discords that are here focused on the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area and the Portland area. And actually, I should bring that up in the news. They're doing some in-person events. There's one that's actually just south of me, hour and a half, Eugene, Oregon, of University of Oregon. They have like every month for the next 6 months. They're going to have like the second Saturday, I think it is. They'll be having a afternoon get together in an arcade. So I should throw those on the at least post a link to them so people know that they're happening. So there's stuff happening, like I said, south of me in Eugene, north in Salem, then further north in Portland, and of course in Seattle. So a bunch of stuff going on here, local things.
Yeah, you should, especially if there's any, CoCo people going to be there and some CoCo's on display or something, even if it's a gaming convention type thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, those I could show up for, and so I could be the CoCo person.
It seems pretty rural from the Google Street View here. Nice place to hang out.
Tukwila, is that how you pronounce that, Mark?
Tukwila? Yeah, that's how I understand it's pronounced, Tukwila. So,
is that a fairly small town then, or?
From whatever, I've never been there personally, but
here's their community center.
I'll stop sharing so you can actually show that because that's actually the last one I have. Anyway,
how far off the Interstate 5 is it?
It is here. We'll kill the street view. We are right there. Boom, bop, doop. and we can hang out at the community center.
Well, it's good sized. Chances are it's so far out of downtown Seattle, it's probably reasonably priced to rent it there.
It's out of town and there's parking around it. It certainly looks like it's a good place to go be rather than have to spend city prices for no particular reason.
And that's a nice day. Moderate clouds, blue sky, and sun. Because gray is usually the name of the game here.
Right, and we're, you're out of the.
Yeah, where it looks like the freeway there, which, yeah, there's I-5. It's right I-5 there. I-5's the big yellow stake through there on the right side. So
Easy to get to. You ain't walking from your hotel, but you ain't facing traffic either.
yeah, shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. I think I've traveled that stretch of freeway many, many times. I'm trying to think where it is exactly. So obviously it branches off there in the bottom, cuts off to the left and goes right past the community center. And the main freeway's on the right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
I don't have the airfare. I would be too.
Are you friends with Glenn Soggy on Facebook, Mark?
I'm not.
After he's
No,
on
I
our
know.
show?
I recognize his name, but I'm not. I should see about connecting with him on Facebook and find out.
Yeah, because he was like involved with Bust Out and Robot Battle and a couple of the original launch titles and stuff, and then some of the slightly later ones for image producers. Also, one of the few people that worked with the original CoCo 1 prototypes on a piece of plywood. So yeah, I'm sure he'd have some interesting stories he could tell there.
Hey, Rick, how's your snow gauge doing? You getting more snow today?
No, I'm pretty sure it's melted as fast as it's grown. So yeah, there's nothing going on out there. I'm actually seeing the grass coming through again. So
Have you had neighbors or anybody look at it, or a dog pee on it or anything?
I'm sure they have. That's the old busted case. Needless to say, it has no future.
Don't you eat the yellow snow?
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Nope.
That must be from your Rochester days there. Ron.
Yeah, I had quite a few days out in the weather. I used to, letter windows, and it was 20 degrees, and the snow was blowing sideways into my
good.
paint.
Oh, nice! You got your paint on the little coffee mug warmer, so it
because you had to, dip your brush in and letter.
And it couldn't be frozen.
Those were the days. No, I come up with a concoction to make the paint flow. Otherwise, it would be,
pour more thinner in it till it.
Well, it's like a clear, viscous stuff. They put in automotive paint.
It's a lubrosity thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I had many days of that stuff. Now I'm sitting here and it's like 61 degrees here in
Right. So if it was like this when I was working, this would be fine. When I was working, it was where I should have been for vacation.
Yeah.
Now that I'm on vacation. Oh well.
All right, so we're getting about done.
Yep,
Yeah,
I think we are done.
We're about out of stuff.
All right, so early in the chat, they were making some comments about this show being unscripted.
No joke.
That's the script.
Oh, there it is. There's got to be 20, 30 characters on that page.
Yeah, my part's a bit more scripted because I have the links and a brief description of which one is, but you can get on the.
But we share that with everybody.
News, you can just download text file every week. Or if you're on the Bit Listener, which is still going, Exile in Paradise usually posts it on Sunday.
He also puts it on the CoCopedia, which is back up.
Yeah, with password protection now.
Welcome to the 20s.
Okay, so let's go for an outro.
This concludes another episode of the CoCoNation, the world's leading live interactive talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things the CoCoNation, visit us on the web at thecoconation.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to show@thecoconation.com. The CoCoNation show would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. The CoCoNation theme song, copyright 2022, D. Bruce Moore. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. The CoCoNation is over. Join us on the Coco Discord server. Coco forever.
It's so final.
The
It's
first
over.
cue I haven't missed all day.
We don't have our Australian buddy here, so I guess I have to say it. Sorry.
We're sorry.
Yeah, he's been going through a bit of a heat wave when I talked to him earlier in the week.
He's got a drink in hand. He's out by the water, and
It's been like 90 degrees Fahrenheit plus 80, 90% humidity.
yeah, gee.
Jump on the Barbie.
Okay, so
Yep.
don't wake up till it gets too hot to sleep.
Yeah, he said it's bad enough he doesn't even want to code. Like you just feel blocked because of the.
Right.
What?
Yeah, air conditioning is not a thing in Australia. That's what my wife said.
You know,
Air
I wonder
conditioning?
if he's got a girlfriend. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's just baked out from the heat. 'Cause I
Yeah,
know that
that's
feeling.
basically what's going on.
I used to live in Texas. It was very similar, and you just don't do anything for a month or two.
Yeah, it's just so uncomfortable. Like we get that a few days here. He's had it for like 3 weeks straight now or something. So
Right.
because this is their summer.
Yeah.
It's molting time, huh?
Yeah.
It's surviving time, and that's.
I mean, it gets a bit warmer where you are, Ron, but I don't think humidity ever gets up to 80, 90%, does it?
No. Well, you know, in the winter it does. We had 94% the other day.
But your temperature then would be.
But
what,
your
70,
temperature is more
60?
stable.
Yeah.
In this kind of climate, it's hot all the time.
It's
You don't get
basically a wet
cold at
sauna.
night. You don't get
Yep.
cool at night to sleep. It's hot at night as well. So
Yeah.
it just never gets better. Where in desert climates like West Texas, it was great.
Yeah,
It was hot
Oh,
already,
yeah.
but it got cool at night, and yeah,
It really doesn't matter where
It's
you
like a
live.
baby.
There's always something to complain about.
there's something
Really.
broken. Here it freezes all the time. Yeah.
There's gonna be something.
Okay.
Okay, it's over.
Guess that should do it for this week.
This is it. Yep.
All right.
Thanks for watching,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Yep.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Everybody.